following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
From Candlestick Park in San Francisco, California, Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. The Oakland Athletics and the San Francisco Giants, with the A's leading in the World Series 2-0. Hi again, everyone. I'm Al Michaels. At this very moment, 10 days ago, we began our telecast with an aerial view of San Francisco. Always a spectacular sight. And particularly so on that day because the cloudless sky of October 17th was ice blue, and the reflections of the late day sun sparkled like 1,000 jewels. That picture was very much a mirror of the feel and the mood that had enveloped the Bay Area and indeed most of Northern California. Their baseball teams, the Giants and the Athletics, had won pennants, and the people of this region were still basking in the afterglow of each team's success. And this great American sporting classic, the World Series, was for the time being exclusively theirs. Then, of course, that feeling of pure radiance was transformed into horror and grief and despair in 15 seconds. And now, on October 27th, like a fighter who's taken a vicious blow to the stomach and has groggily arisen, this region moves on and moves ahead. And one part of that scenario is the resumption of the World Series. No one in this ballpark tonight, no player, no vendor, no fan, no writer, no announcer, in fact, no one in this area, period, can forget the images, the column of smoke in the marina, the severed bridge, the grotesque tangle of concrete in Oakland. The pictures are embedded in our minds. And while the mourning and the agonizing and the after effects continue, in about 30 minutes, the plate umpire, Vic Voltaggio, will say play ball. And the players will play, the vendors will sell, the crowd will exhort, the announcers will announce. And for many of the 6 million people in this region, it will be like revisiting Fantasyland. But Fantasyland is where baseball comes from anyway. And maybe right about now, that's the perfect place for a 3-hour rest. Before the game tonight, you'll hear from the commissioner of baseball, the mayors of San Francisco and Oakland, and the managers of the two teams. Right now, to Gary Thorne with Fay Vincent.
Thank you, Al. Commissioner, the winds of fate in the past 6 months have certainly found you. Your personal thoughts as you get set for Game 3 here tonight?
Well, they're complicated thoughts. I think first of the people who've suffered the last 2 weeks. I'm sorry for them. I'm delighted, on the other hand, that baseball can be a symbol of recovery, and I guess personally I'm just thrilled to be able to see a good ball game.
As you get ready for this one, there's been so much discussion about putting the game in perspective. Your comment on that?
Well, I think one of our objectives was to keep baseball in its place over this last week and a half. I think we did that. Now I think baseball belongs where it is, on the field, and we're very happy to be playing.
And all the discussion also about what it might do for this area. By the sound of this crowd tonight, they are ready for the game to be played.
Well, they are. That's not a surprise to me. I had every belief that they would be ready for baseball. Now I think this represents a recovery of San Francisco and the area. It's a wonderful feeling.
Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Al?
Okay, Gary, there is a special ceremony about to take place. For that, let's join the PA announcer, Jeffrey Bonds.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise for a special ceremony. 10 days ago at this time, as we prepared for Game 3 of the World Series here at Candlestick Park, a major earthquake shook Northern California, killing dozens of people and widespread destruction throughout the Bay Area. Please join together now to observe a moment of silence in memory of those who perished in this disaster. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Major League Baseball, the San Francisco Giants, and the Oakland A's share not only in the community's tragic sense of loss, but also in its legendary spirit of resurrection from such a catastrophe. Nowhere is the spirit embodied more than in the 1936 song San Francisco, as popularized by Jeanette MacDonald in the film of the same name about the city's recovery from the great earthquake and fire of 1906. In tribute to this undaunted vitality of Northern California, and to your own camaraderie as baseball fans, let's all turn and shake hands with those around us. Then join with the cast of the award-winning San Francisco musical review, Beach Blanket Babylon, for a rousing rendition of San Francisco.
Hello, I'm Dave Stewart of the Oakland Athletics. Thousands of volunteers have helped those affected by the earthquake. You can help too. Make a credit card contribution by calling 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to American Red Cross Disaster Relief, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C. 20013. Please specify that your contribution go to a Bay Area earthquake relief effort. Thank you for your support.
The ultimate driving machine. What a luxury car should be. Engineered like no other car in the world. A car you can believe in. These days, it seems that every luxury automaker has some sort of impressive slogan. But there's one claim that makes all the others seem insignificant. A claim that no automaker but Acura is entitled to make. #1 in customer satisfaction, 3 years in a row.
One of these guys is a pro photographer. One's a dentist. With the autofocus EOS 750, it's tough to tell them apart. Canon EOS. Now you don't have to be a pro to shoot like one. And with the EOS 750, now you don't have to be a pro to afford one. Autofocus Canon EOS, so advanced, it's easy to shoot like a pro.
By the way, Doc, could you look at this tooth?
Now, a $50 rebate direct from Canon.
You know what? My dad bought a new car. So did mine. My dad got a V8. My dad got a V12. My dad got a sunroof. My dad got a convertible. My dad got a CD player. My dad got a car phone. My dad got Michelin. Michelin? Well, my mom's prettier than your mom.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Witches and ghosts, what a Halloween treat. First, the spirits come alive and Winnie works a wild magic. Catch Free Spirit at a special time. Then...
So who's up for a little trick-or-treating?
With Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters Halloween Special. Monday.
Are you ready for the football? Herschel Walker and the Vikings take on the New York Giants. 2 first-place teams on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Then... trick-or-treat. His archenemy becomes his only ally, MacGyver, Monday.
Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. The Oakland Athletics versus the San Francisco Giants. Brought to you by Michelin. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And by Acura Legend and Integra. Precision-crafted performance exclusively at your Acura dealer.
Back in San Francisco, Candlestick Park, gorgeous late afternoon. Temperature in the 60s, and I'm joined by two men who have been rather busy of late. Art Agnos is with me, the mayor of San Francisco, and across the bay in his office in Oakland is Mayor Lionel Wilson. And Mayor Agnos, I'll begin with you. How is the recovery process going for your city, the city of San Francisco?
It's superb. San Francisco is ready and is as hot as the World Series is right out there today. The cable cars are running. Chinatown is bustling. Fisherman's Wharf is open, and the city is back, just like the World Series.
What about the major problems that you will have ahead now?
Well, our major problems are going to be rebuilding the homes that were affected in that small part of the city, that in the marina that was so heavily impacted, a couple of other isolated areas. And the people of this city have rebounded superbly. We've gotten tremendous support from all over the nation, from every American. It seems as though it's been terrific.
Mayor Wilson, how about your city, the city of Oakland, and its recovery process? How is it going?
Well, we're well on the way to recovery, although it's early yet, because there have been so many aftershocks that it's difficult to tell what the final tally is going to be in terms of the damage. But the people are together. It's been marvelous to see the way the people in the community have come together. I've never seen them come together around any other problem or any other issue the way they have come together around this earthquake and the problems entailed to it. So we're coming along well.
The most important problems, sir, that you and your city will face in the near future, what will they be?
Well, the most important problem for us also will be housing. Housing those whom we had to dispossess, those we had to evacuate out of their homes, of whatever nature they were, and rebuilding and providing houses and homes for the people.
Your Coliseum, we understand, will be ready for games 6 and 7, but I would assume you are hoping that that's a moot point at this point.
Well, it is a moot point, and our Coliseum is ready. It's ready right now, and if we had to go today as far as the Coliseum itself is concerned, that Coliseum would be ready. So it's in good shape.
A final thought from you, Mayor Agnos?
Well, I just want to say thank you to the Commissioner of Baseball and Major League Baseball for the extraordinary contribution that they've made in terms of their understanding, their sympathy, as have all Americans around the country and friends from all over the world, Japan and Taiwan. And a lot of people have been asking what they can do to help, and I'd just like to say that the Northern California Earthquake Fund, care of the Bank of America, or they can call a toll-free number of 1-900-386-0101 to help us with this recovery. We're very grateful to everyone.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Game 3 of the World Series coming up shortly. We'll return to Candlestick Park right after this message and an ABC News Brief.
Spirit of competition from MCI. Proof that commitment to excellence brings out the best.
I like to wander and roam. I like to call back home. I like my MCI. I get more. I like my MCI.
The product. The proving grounds. The results. STP gas treatment is the edge.
Well, what'd he say?
He said, Kirkwood, you're smart, you're aggressive, you're
brilliant, creative, aggressive, brilliant. He said all that, did he?
Well, something to that effect.
Come on, what else?
Stock, sign-on bonus, company car. Of course I'm gonna turn it down.
The job?
The car.
The Legend sedan from Acura. #1 in customer satisfaction. 3 years in a row.
An ABC News brief. Now from New York, Forrest Sawyer.
Good evening. At the Pan American Summit in Costa Rica today, President Bush chatted with Nicaragua's leftist President Daniel Ortega. But for the most part, the two virtually ignored each other. Police put down an uprising at the Camp Hill State Prison in Pennsylvania in which 60 people were injured. San Francisco's Mayor Art Agnos says the city is now 98% back to normal. And later on Nightline, the fans at tonight's World Series game. How did the earthquake affect them?
Candlestick Park in San Francisco continues to fill up for Game 3 of the World Series. Once again to the PA announcer, Jeffrey Bonds.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. With tonight's starting lineups, here's the voice of the San Francisco Giants, Hank Greenwald.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First, from the American League champion Oakland A's. The manager, number 10, Tony La Russa. Leading off, left fielder, number 24, Ricky Henderson. Base, number 4, Carney Lansford. Hitting third and playing right field, number 33, Jose Canseco. Batting cleanup, first baseman, number 25, Mark McGuire. Fifth and playing center field, number 42, Dave Henderson. Batting sixth and catching, number 36, Terry Steinbach. Hitting seventh, the second baseman, number 2, Tony Phillips. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 7, Walt Weiss. And batting ninth and pitching for the A's tonight, warming up in the bullpen, number 34, Dave Stewart. And the rest of the non-starters and coaches for the Oakland A's. San Francisco Giants. The manager, number 38, Roger Craig. Leading off and playing center field, number 2, Brett Butler. Batting second, the second baseman, number 6, Robbie Thompson. Hitting third, first baseman, number 22, Will Clark. Batting fourth in left field, number 7, Kevin Mitchell. And playing third base, number 10, Ken Oberkfell. Batting sixth, the shortstop, number 9, Matt Williams. pitching, number 16, Terry Kennedy. Batting eighth and playing right field, number 25, Pat Sheridan. Batting ninth and pitching for the Giants tonight, warming up in the bullpen, number 50, Scott Gurels. And the rest of the non-starters and coaches for the San Francisco Giants.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center field. Presenting the colors for tonight's game, the Letterman Army Medical Center color guard from the Presidio of San Francisco. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may we ask that you please rise to honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome national recording artists Larry, Steve, and Rudy, the Gatlin Brothers.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
We return to Candlestick after this message courtesy of Major League Baseball and a word from our ABC stations.
In 87, it was the Twins. In 88, it was the Dodgers. Who will take home the prize in 89? Whoever it is, you can capture all the excitement again and again with the official 1989 World Series home video from CBS Fox Video Sports. To order your official video, call 1-800-4ABC-VCR. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR. Just $19.98 plus $3 each for shipping and handling. The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball.
1 week from tonight,
All comedy, all the time.
they're back.
Hey, you kids, stay off our planet.
First, it's Full House.
There's traffic everywhere!
Then,
Why is every kid's first word always mama?
Not Eddie. His first word was, huh?
it's Family Matters. And more funnies on Perfect Strangers. Then, the creme de la comedy of Just the 10 of Us. TGIF. It's a loony lineup next Friday.
Don't miss it.
Mr. Ian McKenzie. I'm Angus McKenzie. Ian's moved down the road.
Today, with service to 175 countries,
Oh, you've been wanting you now, Mr. Mackenzie.
UPS delivers to nearly 4 billion people,
Also for McKenzie. Hi.
including the extraordinary concentration of Mackenzies along the northeast coast of Scotland.
Mr. Ian Alistair McKenzie. No trouble finding me, did you, lad? No trouble at all.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Everyone has a point of view on why Ford's been so successful. The Taurus. Ford gave the Taurus all this style and all these doors. Really helps if you have little kids or big clients. And as good as it looks, this car won't take you to the cleaners. Unless, of course, you want to go there.
Aren't you astronauts?
Yes, ma'am. We like to compare notes with Stevie on the new space station.
Hi. Hey,
We're the Pointer Sisters. We need Stevie's help with our new album.
The Amiga computer. What can it do? Well, what do you want it to do?
I need some more help.
Mr. O'Neill. Upstairs, first door on the left.
Amiga from Commodore, the computer for the creative mind.
Should David Rothenberg's father be freed? An exclusive report Wednesday at 5.
In the Bay Area, October, normally the best month, and a classic example today at about 25 past 5 on this Friday afternoon. It's gorgeous in the Bay Area. Temperature in the low 60s in San Francisco. Candlestick Park is filling up. 60,000 or so will look on tonight as we get set for the resumption of the 1989 World Series, as the American League champion Oakland A's take on the National League champion San Francisco Giants. The A's leading in the series 2-0. I'm Al Michaels. Where were we? A long time ago, Ricky Henderson was stealing bases and hitting home runs, and there was something about Cito Gaston saying that Dennis Eckersley was doctoring the baseball, and the A's were beating Toronto to win the American League playoffs. And a long time ago, Will Clark hit a single up the middle in the 8th inning against the Chicago Cubs off Mitch Williams, and the Giants won their first pennant in 27 seasons. And once upon a time, Dave Stewart pitched a shutout in Oakland in Game 1 of the World Series. And once upon a time, Mike Moore pitched very well. Eckersley came out of the pen, and Terry Steinbach hit a 3-run homer. And the Oakland A's led in the World Series 2-0. And now we're back. And now I'm back, delighted to be joined by Tim McCarver. Just share your thoughts as we get set for Game 3 here, Tim.
Well, Al, I think the question of preparedness are prominent in all of our minds. Just how prepared are these two teams to play after the long layoff? The San Francisco Giants with the best home record in the National League, 53-28. But will that be neutralized because of the layoffs and a very good Oakland Athletics team? As far as the Athletics are concerned, remember when we talked about the focus the Athletics had back in games 1 and 2, being beaten by the Dodgers last year? Well, you got to wonder about whether the Athletics are going to be interrupted as far as their play is concerned. I mean, after all, both teams have been off 10 days, and to allay that, Tony La Russa took his team to Phoenix, and by the way, they beat their Winter Instructional League team yesterday, 7-0, so their winning streak's still intact.
In front of several thousand fans. Right. They came back last night. The Giants, of course, have remained here. Jim Palmer also with us. Jim, your thoughts as we prepare now for Game 3?
Well, my thought, of course, I'm proud to be an ex-baseball player because I feel that the Commissioner of Baseball, Faye Jensen, did an outstanding job. Very sensitive to the needs of the San Francisco people and everybody in this area. But if you go back to a question, and this question I've gotten, who's going to dominate? Is it going to be the pitchers? Is it going to hitters? It's going to be the pitcher. I'm not saying that because I'm a former pitcher, but I'll tell you what, it's to me the interesting question is how did each manager prepare themselves to come back here to the third game? How do you face a Dave Stewart? Well, they just took batting practice if you're Roger Craig and the Giants. Tony La Russa, and it's the thing that Al Michaels told you about in Game 1 and 2, they are focused. I believe he made them have inter-squad games because he felt they'd be better. Ricky Henderson said it best. He said, we're prepared for this game because we have faced the best pitching in baseball, our pitching.
On the subject of managers, a little earlier, our Joe Morgan talked with both managers, Roger Craig of the Giants, Tony La Russa of the A's.
Tony, you and Roger have had to deal with some circumstances unparalleled in the history of the World Series. You dealt with yours by taking your team to Phoenix. Was the weather a consideration, or you just thought you had to do something different?
Well, absolutely, Joe. The only reason to go down there was we had a forecast of rain either Wednesday or probably Thursday. Our outfield's so wet that we thought, well, to get ready, we don't want to miss some of this hitting. It turned out there were 2 beautiful days. If you'd have guaranteed that weather, we'd have been better off staying.
Were you satisfied with the performance you got down in Phoenix?
Well, we worked out fine. We got the work in. I don't think anybody could have predicted that we'd have had the crowds down there. It just showed us that I think people are very excited about baseball and are happy to see us playing it.
No batting practice today?
Well, we're going to slip in a little bit here at the end. It's a real tough time coming across San Mateo, but some way, somehow, we'll be ready for whatever Roger has in store for us.
Roger, you went about yours differently. You kept the Giants here, played a few practice games, but then you stopped that.
Well, we worked out the first 2 days after the earthquake, Joe. Then I didn't see the intensity, the desire. The players were not having any fun hitting off the guys, throwing 95 miles an hour. So I just called a day off and let them come back and just take batting practice, kind of do what they wanted to put the fun back in the game. I think the psychological effect had more to do with it than the physical effect, and I think we're as ready as we can be.
The intensity going to be there tonight?
I think so. I think you can see now, as you look around, the stands are filling up. It's going to be a great night for baseball, and I think once they throw out the first pitch, it's going to be just like it was. I don't think you'll even know what happened.
I think it'll be a good game. Let's have a good ball game.
And that first pitch is just moments away at Candlestick Park, Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. And the pitching matchup tonight, Dave Stewart for Oakland, Scott Garrelts for San Francisco.
It has arrived.
Good morning, Mr. Graves. This is the all-new four-door Cutlass Supreme. Your mission is to show the world that it's causing an automotive revolution. Its sleek look and responsive performance make it a superpower among world-class cars.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. Hey, head up! This is the new generation of Olds.
Well, fans, it all comes down to this moment. This is where it all gets decided. Johnson steps in, checks the signs, makes a few adjustments. This is a classic confrontation. He's digging in. Here's the delivery. And there it goes. He's going back, way back. It is going. It is gone.
Pepsi, a generation ahead.
The ball game's over.
How to get your package through a Mediterranean storm. Most Federal Express overseas employees are from overseas, so they not only know the local customs regulations, they know the local customs. And that helps your package sail right through. Because when delivering in Rome, it helps to be a Roman. Federal Express, the best way to ship it over here is now the best way to ship it over there.
On November 22nd, the adventure continues.
All right, time circuit's on.
Get ready. Get set.
2015.
Welcome to the future.
I gotta check this out, Doc.
Where anything is possible.
Cubs win World Series.
Steven Spielberg presents a Robert Zemeckis film. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd. Back to the Future, Part 2. A brand new future is coming on Wednesday, November 22nd at theaters everywhere.
When disaster hits and people need help, sometimes you've got to break the rules. It just can't be business as usual. After the events of the past month, we knew we had to do something. So right now, every time you buy a BK Doubles, Burger King will donate 25 cents to the American Red Cross to help those devastated by the San Francisco earthquake and Hurricane Hugo. Because sometimes breaking the rules means giving something back.
I didn't know you liked baseball.
I don't. I like Jose.
I used to play.
Really?
Little League. I was designated weeper.
Anything but love, Wednesdays.
Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. The Oakland Athletics versus the San Francisco Giants. Brought to you by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future, now at your Oldsmobile dealer. By Anheuser-Busch, we brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. By Apple Computer, the power to be your best. And by Merrill Lynch, a financial firm built on a tradition of trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we direct your attention to the pitcher's mound for a very special ceremony. In the aftermath of last week's earthquake, thousands of public servants and volunteers from scores of local and regional agencies, along with hundreds of ordinary citizens, performed heroically in the rescue and recovery efforts throughout the Bay Area. In recognition of these efforts, these 12 individuals are with us this evening to represent their organizations and to symbolize their countless co-workers and neighbors who also gave unselfishly in this dark hour. Throwing out tonight's ceremonial first ball, our San Francisco firefighter, Jerry Shannon. The medical director of Oakland Highlands Hospital, Dr. Floyd Hume. Pacific Gas and Electric Company gas serviceman, Dave Lopez. San Francisco police officer, Alvin Wong. Caltrans Associate Bridge Engineer, Steve Whipple. California Conservation Corps San Francisco Branch Volunteer, Juan Moncada. Oakland Fire Department Captain, Ron Carter. Santa Cruz County Red Cross Chapter Chairwoman, Corey Livingston. Pacific Bell District Manager, John Otzes. Santa Cruz Area Salvation Army Volunteer, Shelley Cruz. California Highway Patrol Lieutenant Clifford Gray. And San Francisco Deputy Sheriff, Terry Tussey. Thank you very much, and the Bay Area salutes you for your great effort in this time of need.
An unforgettable moment at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, where this crowd, and if you were with us during the introduction of the starting lineups, naturally the Giants, this being their home park, the crowd very much into it. Very much into it. No question. Some thought perhaps the response would be somewhat muted early on and then might build. But no, sir, as the Giants take the field.
Really, the bonding and the banding together of the entire region.
Than never felt better. Scott Garrelts goes to the mound for the Giants. And he was the starting pitcher in Game 1 of the World Series, which took place 13 nights ago at the Oakland Coliseum. Among the things that have happened while we were waiting for the series to resume is an entire change in both pitching rotations. In the original Game 3 a week ago Tuesday, it was going to be Don Robinson for San Francisco and Bob Welch for Oakland, and now we're back to the starters in Game 1. And the lineup for the A's with Ricky Henderson, Carney Lansford, and Jose Canseco hitting third. Mark McGuire, the cleanup hitter. Dave Henderson in center. Steinbach is the catcher. Tony Phillips at second. Walt Weiss, who homered in Game 1 off Garrelts at shortstop. And again, just to refresh you, we're in the National League Park, and that means no designated hitter. Dave Parker, the A's DH, played a big role in Games 1 and 2, but he is limited to pinch hitting duty here. The pitchers will hit Mitchell, Butler, and Sheridan in the Giant outfield. Oberkfell at third, Williams at short, Thompson at second, Clark at first. Kennedy back to the plate, Garrelts is pitching, and because the Giants in those first two games of the World Series had only 9 hits, Roger Craig was going to make these changes anyway. In Game 3 a week ago Tuesday, with Oberkfell at third, Williams over to short, and Sheridan at right.
Ricky Henderson has been, throughout the postseason, dominating. Most valuable player in the American League Championship Series. He is 5 for 8, the entire San Francisco team with 9 hits among them. And Ricky Henderson has 5 as the leadoff batter for the Oakland Athletics.
And strangely, even though he is 5 for 8, he has been much quieter in the World Series than he was against Toronto, and he dominated. So here we go. Several days later, Game 3 of the World Series is underway with a strike. And you know that that baseball is back when Henderson looks back at Voltaggio on the very first pitch of the game and questions the call.
The delay didn't change that, did it?
No. Breaking pitch away in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Henderson started the season with the Yankees, then came over in June and really sparked the A's. He gets fisted and grounds it to short. Matt Williams throws him out. So Garrelts, as he was unable to do, facing Henderson in game 1, is able to keep him off the bases as he gets him to ground out to short, and Carney Lansford comes to the plate.
Hey, you saw how Williams just nursed the ball over to Clark at first. He's the youngest player in the World Series.
That's lined into center field for a base hit. So Lansford picks up his 3rd hit of the World Series, a 1-out single here in the first inning. Carney has good speed. He stole 37 bases this season, but he was not really a base-stealing threat in the first 2 games of the series because of a pulled hamstring.
All 3 of his hits have come as in the first time at bat. That's his 3rd hit in the series, all during his first time at bat. But my point about Williams, he nursed that throw to first base. That's usually what happens until the players get the butterflies out.
Jose Canseco at the plate, takes inside, ball 1. Canseco, and it's been forgotten, working on a string right now. He is 0 for his last 23 in the last 2 World Series. The record is 31. He's chasing one Marv Owen, who got a lot of publicity. Everybody was scrambling for stories in the past couple of days. And again, it's up and in. 2-0, and Canseco, after taking 2 pitches inside, and of all things, Jose begins to go toward the mound. Some of the players exit the dugout, but it will stop right there, and La Russa comes out to talk to Voltaggio.
You know, that's just misdirected passion right there. I mean, there's no way that Scott Garrelts is throwing at Canseco under these, of all circumstances, under these circumstances. That is very close, however, and the book on Canseco is you've got to pitch him inside.
Well, you can see how close it is, and of course, Garrelts, who had some problems with his mechanical workings of his windup in the first game, having it again.
So the spirit of unbound love in this region, which had even extended to these 2 teams, at least as far as the teams are concerned, lasts about 3 minutes. The 2-0 pitch is on the inside corner, and the count is 2-1.
Now, you wondered if they were going to have any intensity, and you already see right there, especially a guy struggling. Don't mess with my head. It's hard to see. Twilight type of situation here in San Francisco.
Clark holding Lansford on at first. 1 out, first inning, no score, and 2-1 on Canseco. Breaking pitch into the hole, and that's a base hit. Lansford will stop at second as Mitchell gets it back in. So Jose snaps the string. He had not had a World Series hit since that grand slam home run in game 1 against the Dodgers last year, forever forgotten because Gibson ended the game with a dramatic homer, and now a single here in the first inning.
A breaking ball that he did not get in a good location. A lot of times as you look at Roger Craig, he's got to be a little concerned. He said he would go to the bullpen in a hurry tonight. Down 2 games to none.
Mark McGwire swings late, and the count is 0-1. Well, Craig has to manage this game as if it's the last game of the season, in effect. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the World Series. Several, however, have come back from 0-2. And McGwire fouls it away, and the count is 0-2.
And so many times you learn from your mistakes. And Norm Sherry, Roger Craig, hope that Scott Garrelts learn from the mistakes he made in game 1. He did not pitch that badly. Did give up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. Only 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. But what he did do is have very bad pitch selection. Did not throw the proper pitches to the proper hitters.
Lansford at second, Canseco at first. 1 out. And the runners go as it's grounded to the hole. Williams up with it. One-handed throws to first for the out. The runners advance with Lansford now at third and Canseco at second. And again, it's Matt Williams who has been playing third for the Giants for the most part through the second half of the season. Was the third baseman through the playoffs and in the first 2 games, who moves over to short and makes the play here.
Pretty exciting baseball with Mark McGuire hitting and running. Runners at first and second. A play that, as far as the big leagues are concerned, happened much more often this year than in past years. The first and second hit and run. You saw a lot more teams do it this year.
2 on, 2 out, and Dave Henderson, who is 0 for 6 in the World Series and hasn't hit the ball out of the infield, takes away ball 1. Now Garrelts with first base open naturally can afford to be more careful with Henderson here, but he has Steinbach waiting on deck. In the air to right field and deep, and Sheridan goes back, and it's off the top of the fence. And in play, 2 runs will score, and Henderson has a double. Dave saying, wasn't it a home run, but the right field umpire, Paul Runke, was down the line and there to call it. Said it hit the top of the fence and bounces back, and it's 2-0 A's and almost 3-0.
And that's already more runs than Scott Garrelts averages here at Candlestick Park. 157. A little bit over a run and a half. As you look Sheridan go back, he's an outstanding defensive outfielder. Gets up, but just not high enough. The ball goes off the top of the fence. 2 extra umpires, one down the left field line, Paul Runke down the right field line. Makes this call a lot easier as you see it hit right on the top of the fence.
Now Steinbach pops it up in foul territory. Kennedy comes back, and there is a lot of room, but not enough there, and the count is 0-1.
We talked about a better offensive lineup, but you're also talking normally about a better defensive outfielder. Sheridan a lot better than Maldonado. Throws better range, charges the ball well.
And the reason Pat didn't have a chance to get back on that ball, the ball didn't have a lot of hang time. So Sheridan didn't have a chance to get back, set himself at the fence, and jump for the ball.
Pitch away in the count 1-1. He jumped high enough, but he didn't have it gauged correctly where it came down.
Right.
Breaking pitch away. Vertically, Sheridan was okay. Horizontally is where the problem existed. So it's 2-0 on a double by Henderson. The first time that Henderson has hit the ball out of the infield in the 3 games. Good breaking pitch, and the count 2-2. In the World Series, winning game 1 back of Dave Stewart 5-0, winning game 2 by a score of 5-1. Steinbach hitting a 3-run homer in that one. That's grounded to third, scooped up by Oberfeld, and that's that in the first. But the A's get a couple to take the lead. After a half, Oakland 2 and San Francisco coming up.
I was feeling pretty good when I saw my boy Joe in that new Oldsmobile. I thought Joe had finally matured some. But that new Cutlass Glade doesn't look like any Oldsmobile that I ever had. It's got something called a high output quad 4 engine. The next thing you know, Joe will be bringing home girls.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. This is a new generation of Olds.
Now get up to a $1,600 cash bonus on a 1990 Cutlass Calais. See your Olds dealer today.
50, 60, 70% off. Ooh, sale. Lowest price of the year. Who's kidding who? That's a lot of hype. And people just don't believe it anymore. Now, Sears has the right idea. They lowered prices throughout the store so I can get great prices all the time. And when Sears has a sale or a special price, it's something you don't want to miss. Not like some stores. So I'm not going for the hype. I'm going to Sears.
Mr. Ian McKenzie. I'm Angus McKenzie. Ian's moved down the road.
Today, with service to 175 countries,
Oh, you've been wanting Ian Alistair, Mackenzie.
UPS delivers to nearly 4 billion people,
Parcel for Mackenzie. Hi.
including the extraordinary concentration of Mackenzies along the northeast coast of Scotland.
Mr. Ian Alistair Mackenzie. No trouble finding me, did you, lad?
No trouble at all. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Yo! This is Mars Blackman, and this is my main man, Michael Jordan. And there's a pair of tight Air Jordans from Nike. This is something you can buy. And this is a patented, vicious, high-flying 360 slam dunk. This is something you cannot do. Let me repeat myself. This you can buy. You cannot do this. Can. No!
Candlestick Park in San Francisco in the twilight. Gorgeous day in the Bay Area. The A's scoring 2 runs in the top of the first, and now their ace going to the mound, Dave Stewart. 3 years in a row, he's won 20 or more, and in postseason, 2 victories against Toronto, 1 against San Francisco in Game 1 of the World Series. And he will be facing the Giants tonight with a revamped lineup, a different one than he saw in Game 1, in the sense that Oberkfell is in the lineup and Sheridan is in the lineup, and then Williams drops down to the number 6 spot from number 5. Brett Butler to lead off for the Giants. Butler, Robbie Thompson, and Will Clark in the bottom of the first. Brett 1 for 6 in the World Series, and the first pitch to the screen, 1-0. Sheridan jumping high enough, but missing the drive off Henderson's bat, and it's 2-0. And the count is 2-0. Butler, Thompson, and Clark in the bottom of the first. Dave Stewart working for the first time since a week ago Saturday. Throws a strike in the count, 2-1.
And how they tried to get him ready for this game is to have a simulated game a week ago Thursday. That would have put him right on target for Tuesday's game.
Lifted to left field, and Henderson was playing him in that direction anyway and makes the catch. So Ricky takes care of Butler. Here's the Giants lineup again if you missed the pregame introductions. With Butler leading off, then Thompson and Clark. Mitchell is in the cleanup spot. Oberkfell in the lineup tonight, hitting 5th. Matt Williams, Terry Kennedy, Pat Sheridan 8th, and Garrelts. Robbie Thompson, 241 during the regular season with 13 homers. And anything but the typical number 2 hitter because he struck out 133 times during the regular year.
I think it's only fair to note that he did have some shoulder problems that bothered him the second half of the season. In fact, got a cortisone shot 2 days ago. Very gingerly taking both throwing and hitting practice yesterday.
1-2 the count. If anything, the Giants had more players benefiting from the delay than the A's. Clark with a knee and tonsillitis. Thompson, Mitchell's wrist, and Robbie Thompson gone on strikes. Here's the split forkball, your preference, and down goes Thompson.
Well, they call it a forkball in Oakland, split-fingered fastball in San Francisco. I tell you, 18 miles apart, pitch still does the difference. The same thing, just goes down. You can't pick up the spin. It's an off-speed pitch in some sort, a little bit slower than Stewart's 88 to 92 mile per hour fastball.
18 miles via the San Mateo Bridge. 8 miles if you're a bird. In the air, down the line, curling foul, and Lansford giving chase and sliding and unable to backhand it. as in Oakland, plenty of room here in foul territory. It tapers off down the line, and Carney comes up checking his wrist. Candlestick Park, a stadium that was built in the late 50s and opened in 1960. The Giants came west in 58, spent 2 seasons at Old Seal Stadium, then moved in here in 62, and this is the first World Series game they played here since 1962 as Clark swings and misses and the count is 0-2.
Yeah, Will said that basically the pattern that Stewart had with him, nobody on base, saw a lot of fastballs, somebody on base, split-fingered fastballs.
Still 0-2.
Excuse me, but Timmy, you know, of course, you're a former hitter, 4 decades. Pitcher will change. I mean, that's part of the baseball. You have to change as a hitter. Stewart, of course, may change tonight. They both watched the films.
I don't know whether Stewart's inclined to change as much. He threw a shutout his last time up.
And one of the few people who did give him a problem that night was Clark with a single and a double. He had 2 of the 4 hits.
And the other time popped up and lined out. So 3 out of 4 times. He had to be happy not with the result of the game, but his at-bats.
Yeah, remarkably, Dave Stewart winning 20 for the 3rd year in a row. His first shutout of the season this year.
And Clark gone on strikes. So after the A's get 2 in the top of the inning, the Giants are gone in order. End of 1 in game 3.
Do I look okay?
Yeah, you look great. Don't worry, he's going to love you.
Hi.
This is my dad.
Young man. Hi. Pleasure to meet you. So, you play?
Making points when you put
Yeah.
to the test. For joining in and taking part. Earning their trust right from the start. For showing what's inside of you. Winning their hearts. For coming through. This was for you.
Here it comes. Cold and crisp, clean and refreshing. The one and only taste of the king of beers.
Are
you okay?
This was for you.
You don't have to go to Harvard to learn beef is nutrient dense. We're talking protein, iron, B12, and zinc. I didn't go to Harvard. Went to Yale instead. Beef, real food in Yale, Washington.
Announcing a new generation of owner satisfaction. We're so sure you'll love your new Oldsmobile, we'll let you return it within 30 days or 1,500 miles if you don't. Who else does that? Unlike some warranties, Oldsmobiles covers just one part. This is the part. Oldsmobile now offers roadside assistance around the clock, even in places where there aren't any clocks. The Oldsmobile Edge, there's nothing else like it.
When lunch and a day at the park are too much for Tommy Lasorda, he reaches for Rolaids. Nothing works better for acid indigestion. And why should heartburn take the fun out of the game? Relief. You know how to spell it.
An ABC News exclusive reveals how a Soviet spy ring stole U.S. military secrets for 20 years. Watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News tonight, Monday.
Still a spectacular sight. Boy, you can only ponder. It's amazing. You look at it from the blimp. It's standing, folks. It sure is. There it is in all its regal splendor. The city of San Francisco. Cosmetically looking beautiful, as always. But, of course, we all know about the deep, deep scars. World Series, Game 3, 2nd inning. Tony Phillips, the batter, check swing foul at the plate, evening the count at 1-1. Phillips, Walt Weiss, and then Dave Stewart. Tony, switch hitter, and a most valuable Oakland A. It's such a high-profile team. He's one of those kind of lost in the publicity shuffle, but not in the mind of Tony La Russa. 2-1.
The only positions Phillips didn't play this year, he didn't catch, he didn't pitch, and he didn't play center field. But he played the other 6. terrific athlete. Some think he is the best athlete, pure athlete, on the Oakland Ball Club.
2-2 the count. Spectacular sight. Looking north. Into your shot. For the moment came the Bay Bridge. As Phillips on a check swing foul rolls it off to the left, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tell you, Al, as far as the Giants are concerned, it might be too nice a day today. One of the big reasons the Giants and Scott Garrell's 10-2 in this ballpark, Roger Craig's troops, one of the reasons that they had the best record in the National League was because most of the teams that come in here have to fight the elements.
Check swing, the appeal, and he's punched out at third by Gregg. Vic Voltaggio didn't call it a swinging strike. The ball was dropped by Kennedy. He made the tag, and then it's official when Gregg puts the big right arm up.
See Voltaggio not making the call. He checks with Eric Gregg, and Eric gives him the strikeout sign. You can see right here, it's where the bat goes, and did he catch the ball in the air? Kennedy does it, and there's Eric.
Weiss pops it down the line in foul territory, and that drops untouched in the bullpen. 0-1 on Walt, who hit only 3 homers during the regular season, but homered in Game 1 against Garrelts. Weiss with knee surgery missed about half the season. Last year's Rookie of the Year in the American League. 1-1.
And the home run came on a split-fingered fastball, same pitch that just struck out Tony Phillips. It was not a good pitch in Game 1 for Scott Garrelts because he didn't have command of it.
To center field. Butler gauging it, drifting back. 2 down in the second inning. Two out, bases empty. The A's are ahead 2-0. And Dave Stewart will come up, obviously, for the first time this season, even though Stewart, in parts of 6 seasons in the National League, hit 196. He was 10 for 51. There it is, his career mark. In there in the count 0-1.
And it has been a long drought for American League pitchers in World Series play. 0 for their last 67, dating back to 1979 when Kim Stoddard, teammate of yours, Jim.
Yeah, you know what happened that day? The Orioles were staging a rally coming from behind as a game they won. I was on the bench. So anyway, Stoddard, as you look at Dave Park, he couldn't even get anybody else in there. He let Stoddard hit. He got a base hit.
A's gone in order, to the amusement of even Parker.
Contact first made news in 1961. In 1976, the news was 2 Sudafed. Today, there's new Co-Advil. Co-Advil has what no other cold product has. The pain reliever in Advil plus a proven decongestant. A combination never available before in just 1 tablet. Co-Advil is so effective it can relieve nasal congestion, sinus pressure, and the aches and pains of your cold, all without drowsiness. Read label before using. New Co-Advil. Advanced formula for cold and sinus relief.
New Britain, Connecticut is 119 miles from New York City. It only seems farther than that. People here live in the same houses their parents lived in, worship in churches where their grandparents worshipped, and work for the company their great-grandfathers built, the Stanley Works. So it's not surprising Stanley tools are made to last. It would only be surprising if they weren't.
It's not just a car, it's your freedom.
You know, most people don't know when to start checking their shocks.
One thing to watch out for, they'll wear out faster if you carry heavy loads or drive on bad roads.
And it isn't just a matter of comfort. Bad shocks can mean bad handling, too.
These GM Goodwrench shocks come with a warranty. The warranty is good for as long as you own your GM car or truck.
See Mr. Goodwrench wherever you see these signs.
We're giving the competition a run for their money on price.
missed a spot.
Free spirits Sundays.
Candlestick Park, Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver, game 3 of the World Series. Oakland on top 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And the middle of the order for the Giants, Kevin Mitchell, who led the majors in homers and runs batted in. Then Ken Oberkfell and Matt Williams. Stewart set the Giants down in order in the first and begins by missing away here, ball 1. 1-0. Mitchell 3 for 8 in the World Series. And did pretty well in the playoffs against the Cubs. He was 6 for 17 as well, but that was all obliterated because of Will Clark's performance. Obliterated in the minds of fans. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count. Here at Candlestick tonight, all you needed, of course, was your ticket stub. The original game 3 was sold out. And the stub alone gets you back into the ballpark. Only about 75 people turned their original ticket stubs in. And Mitchell has gone on strikes. And so Dave Stewart, picking right up where he left off a week ago Saturday, has retired the first 4, and he has struck out 3 in a row.
Well, power hitter, power pitcher. Did not get that ball where he wants to. Tried to go inside. You can see Steinbach sitting in. That ball's away, but you see the great movement along with the velocity that Dave Stewart has. Plus, he's already thrown enough split fingers to make the hitters look for it.
Oberkfell at the plate. Oberkfell picked up from Pittsburgh in May, a most valuable Giant coming off the bench this year. He was a regular, you'll recall, with St. Louis and Atlanta. Then he went to Pittsburgh and then to San Francisco. And back in the lineup as Craig tries to find some punch. Giants limited in this World Series to 9 hits in now 19 in the third innings. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Pitch hit base hit off Mike Moore. Just slapped it into left field in game 2. Likes to describe himself, Ken does, as a patient hitter. And he said, that's what I'm going to try to do off Dave Stewart. Not swing at the split finger until I have to. I got to do it with 2 strikes.
One of the raps on Oberkfell is that he's not an RBI man. And usually those two go hand in hand. If you don't strike out a lot, you don't drive in many runs.
The right field, Canseco nearly misjudged it, but finds it and makes the catch. It's still a little tough right now in the twilight. Lights not having full effect. And they will in about another 20 or 25 minutes. But for the moment, it can be a little tricky. Matt Williams, I guess that statement there reflecting the thoughts of so many of the players on both sides tonight. One and 0 the count. Williams expressing his thoughts. Boy, you find out a lot about these players in times like this. Dave Stewart in particular. I mean, every time you saw Dave Stewart interviewed before this tragedy, it was always in regard to baseball. And you knew that he was an articulate man and an intelligent man, but of all the players who have expressed their thoughts during this terrible time, no one with any more articulateness than the man on the mound, Dave Stewart. So the Giants pick up their second run of the World Series, their first home run, and they want Williams back out. Terry Kennedy, the batter, takes a strike. Williams did come out for his curtain call, and the score is 2-1.
home runs during the regular season for the Giants. He had 26 in Phoenix. Gives him 44 and 3 in postseason play.
And Kennedy gone on 3 pitches. So Stewart comes back to strike out his 4th Giant, but San Francisco gets a run.
Hello, I'm Keith Jackson. College football doubleheader here on ABC Sports Saturday begins with Indiana at Michigan. Wolverines trying to stay atop the Big Ten chase, followed by Washington at UCLA or Ohio State at Minnesota. Check the local listings for the game in your area here on ABC Sports.
Something very exciting is going on here. It's a program called Foretell from GTE. It's a computer network that allows us to test your phone lines, look for problems, and fix them without ever disturbing you. You see, at GTE, it's not just communications we offer, it's solutions.
Malaysia offers you all the fascination of the East, especially during Visit Malaysia Year 1990. There will be hundreds of processions, thousands of dances, millions of feasts, and lots more.
Selamat datang.
It's our way of saying welcome, especially during Visit Malaysia Year 1990. You'll be fascinated.
During Hyundai's Full House Clearance, your dealer has a little number you'll never see again. 5224. A well-equipped Excel for just $52.24 after factory rebate. With variable intermittent wipers, rear defroster, room for 5, 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, more standard features than any car in its class. It's the most affordable, best value in America. And we've got loads of them. So take a number. Rush to your nearest Hyundai dealer and pick up your little number before they're gone for good.
Should David Rothenberg's father be freed? An exclusive report Wednesday at 5.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Sunset in Northern California.
This home run by Matt Williams doesn't give the Giants the lead, but it gives them confidence. Only the second extra base hit in the series for the Giants. The other a double by Will Clark.
And home run's no stranger to Stewart. On a hanging split-fingered fastball, came right back to get Kennedy out on the same pitch.
Now Ricky Henderson to start the 3rd inning. Top of the order, Henderson, Lansford, and Canseco. One and one to count. Stu, I guess forever destined to finish 2nd or 3rd in the Cy Young balloting. It's going to happen again this year, probably.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people wonder how you can be baseball's most consistent player or pitcher over the last 3 years and not win a Cy Young award. Well, it's simple. Just have 3 superlative years, and then somebody each year has a little bit better. 87, it was Clemens. 20-9 with a lower ERA. In 88 it was Viola, and this year Brett Saberhagen. Saberhagen going 23-6 with the lowest ERA in baseball for a starter. It's 2.16, just a little bit lower than Scott Gereltz, who led the National League with a 2.22.
3-1 pitch is fouled off, and the count 3-2 on Henderson. Ricky was one of the few A's who got here in plenty of time for the game. The team bus left the Oakland Coliseum at about 1:45 and didn't arrive at Candlestick Park until around 3:20 this afternoon. So they had a truncated batting practice as Henderson rips one into left center for a base hit and more as Mitchell has to play it off the fence, and Ricky has a double. Henderson hitting it so hard. That's the type of ball that's a guaranteed double on AstroTurf, but normally dies on the grass in this park, or at least is cut off by an outfielder. And Henderson able to drive it through the gap and winds up at second.
We told you in game 1 and 2 that Henderson does not mind hitting with a 3-2 count. The reason, he knows he's not going to be walked. So you take a little bit off if you're the pitcher. He feels comfortable. And on AstroTurf, with the ball bounding around, is probably a triple.
Lansford, look out, and the count is 1-0.
Trying to go the other way. He has right field on his mind, so therefore he's ducking out over the plate. That's the second close pitch thrown by Scott Garrelts. The other one, of course, to Jose Canseco in the first inning. But that pitch looked more inside than it really was because Lansford is trying to hit the ball the other way.
Which he does there and strokes it foul. The count 1 ball and 1 strike.
A great right field hitter. Reminds me of a great former Oakland A, Joe Rudy. Similar batting style. Rudy with more power. Lansford had a terrific year, hitting .336. Only 2 home runs, so he hits the inside out of the ball. This is a perfect situation for him.
1-1. Williams ducking in back of Henderson to keep him close to second. And the pitch is inside. When Henderson's at second, you have to pay attention to him, much as you do at first base, obviously. Because Ricky, if you give him a decent lead, and sometimes even if you don't, he'll take off.
Well taken point. You got to make him stop, and he does not need a big lead to steal.
And again, Lansford's fighting it off, trying to go the other way with it, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Roger Craig, Bob Lillis.
Lansford again trying to go the other way. That's why Henderson isn't going to steal with nobody out. He's less likely to steal with none out than he is with 1 out. Because with nobody out, Lansford may push him to third, and for that reason, you don't need to steal third base.
Yeah, Carney can help the ball club not only by getting obviously Ricky Henderson to third base, but he can hit the ball the other side and not really impair his batting average. He does that so much over the course of the season.
Henderson stole third 21 times this year. The 2-2 pitch just missing. Kennedy wanted the ball. Voltaggio says,
well, you know, sometimes you even fool the umpire. That ball is about dead center, just above the knees.
In the NFL, it's strike 3 upon further review. Henderson at second, nobody out. Third inning, 2-1, Oakland. 3-2 to Lansford, got him. Strikeouts for Scott Garrelts. And Canseco comes up.
Well, an umpire will tell you he'll never, ever evens it up. Ball looked close enough to call, and it was. Of course, I tell you what, you go back to that first pitch, Tim, that ball way up and in, it will make you freeze on the breaking ball.
There goes Henderson. Canseco takes a strike. The throw not in time. Good jump. Ricky steals third. So with 1 out, he goes. With nobody out, giving Lansford a chance to hit the ball. But there it is, a perfect illustration of what he normally does.
It's just intelligent team play. Henderson giving Lansford a chance to get him over, and he took things into his own hands, or into his own feet, really.
Giants compelled now to play the infield in, and the count on Canseco is 1-1. He's in there.
The only time that Henderson has been thrown out, he was thrown out by Kennedy at third base in the 6th inning of game 2.
That's Ricky's second steal of the series and his 10th in postseason. And tying the record set by Davey Lopes in 1981. 1-2 on Canseco. Jose, 1 home run in that championship series, and that, of course, was the the monstrous shot at the Sky Dome. Fastball is a little squibber to third. Overkill able to check the runner, and they're going to say now a foul ball or not. Canseco is saying a foul ball, but the umpire Voltaggio is saying no, sir. And of course, the Nippy Jones stories will now come out. What about the shoe polish? And La Russa will go to Voltaggio and say, let's check with the first base umpire, Dutch Renner.
The one problem is the Oakland Athletics have white shoes and the baseball's white.
That's right.
I think the ball might have hit him, and for this reason, I don't think you can act that quickly. If the ball hits your foot, as opposed to hitting the ground, you can't act that quickly. Talking about the NFL instant replay. That ball hit his foot. That ball came right off his foot.
Meanwhile, that one hits Garrels, who is able to recover, and a soft toss to Clark to take care of McGuire. And they check out Garrels, who really took a shot. A bullet back through the middle as he comes staggering off the mound. But the A's are gone, leaving Henderson at third in the third.
I told Greg he was crazy to start his own business. He won't have our resources. He won't have our computers.
Morning, Annie.
Hey, you been busy?
Sure, it's a lot of space for one guy. He says he's planning to grow.
This story's bothering you, pal? No problem, thanks.
He won't have our graphics department. He won't have our...
He won't have our bureaucracy. I heard Greg Clancy went independent. I wish I had his guts.
I'm having lots of fun. Ain't no hide gun. I'm the boss man.
This proposal is impressive.
Who are these guys anyway?
Greg's a creative guy. Clancy's just a bean counter.
I'm the CEO.
Macintosh has the power to make you independent. The power to be your best.
How come you got so much space?
I'm an optimist.
Hello tomorrow, goodbye yesterday. You can feel the emotion, we're breaking away. A generation of life, we have our own voice. A generation of taste, and Pepsi's our choice. We're leading the way, now let it be said. A generation of Pepsi, a generation ahead, a generation.
Hi, I'm Will Clark of the San Francisco Giants. You can help the Bay Area recover from the earthquake. Make a credit card contribution by calling 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to American Red Cross Disaster Relief, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C. 20013. Please specify that your contribution go to the Bay Area earthquake relief effort. Thank you for your support.
Candlestick Park in San Francisco as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Another look now at the Canseco play here, Tim.
This is very, very close, and if an umpire can't tell, it appears to have hit his foot. If an umpire can't tell, you've got to go by the reaction of the hitter. I see that ball appears to hit Canseco's foot, but his reaction was more telling than that instant replay because he stopped. Your natural inclination when you hit a ball on the ground that didn't hit your foot, you run to first. But because he stopped, I think that was the best indication of all.
Pat Sheridan leads off the bottom of the third by hitting a soft bouncer down to Phillips, and he's gone. So one away here in the bottom of the third inning, and the batter will be Scott Garrels. Yeah, you're exactly right. And it's a case of you know it's off your foot or it's hit your foot, so you figure, well, everybody else knows.
Right. And you can't think that quickly. A more telling sign of you trying to get away with something would be to run 3 steps toward first and then stop. Then it's a different story.
Here's Garrels. I mentioned Nippy Jones. You go back to 57, the Braves and the Yankees, and one of the key plays in that. Jones hit by a pitch, and it was only determined that he was hit by a pitch when they discovered the shoe polish on the ball. 1-1. Good thing he used his kiwi that day, huh? That is Alcatraz, the island sitting out in the middle of San Francisco Bay. Marin County in the background and the great city of San Francisco in the foreground as Garrelts fouls it away and they count 1-2. Butler on deck. Garrelts this season with 2 triples, including one which ended up with him on the disabled list. And down he goes on strikes. Garrelts in a game against the Cubs. In fact, we were doing it as a Thursday night telecast this year. Hurt himself sliding into third and wound up going on the DL. 2 down. And Brett Butler is the batter. And a reminder, tomorrow, Saturday here on ABC at noon Eastern time, Indiana takes on Michigan. College football. Then regional action. You'll see Washington against UCLA or Ohio State against Minnesota following at 3:30 Eastern time. And then we're back here tomorrow at 8 Eastern time for the World Series Game 4. Butler hits a soft fly ball to Dave Henderson. And 9 of the 10 Giants have gone down. The only blemish on the Stewart ledger, the home run by Williams. 2-1 Oakland.
There is a new dimension for those who love to drive. It is long and sleek, smooth yet precise, designed for comfort, built for the road, shaped by the wind, proven on the track. Introducing Lumina, the adult sport coupe. When it comes to new dimensions in performance, nobody's winning like
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevrolet.
She's all ours.
Going into business, got something new. Gonna pay me down. Red, white, and blue. Coming through this bar.
Nice place.
How about some customers?
Ladies' night.
Great place, guys. Who did your decorating?
I'm ready for one thing when I drive. Everything. Bad weather, bad drivers. I guess that's why we've got Michelins. Michelins are for all the things that can't possibly happen, but always do. Am I overprotective? I've got reason to be. The way I see it, you never need a Michelin until you really need a Michelin.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
You know, a lot of people are succeeding in business thanks to desktop publishing. Makes you look pretty smart, doesn't it? Only thing is, what if you need 5,000? Printed just as nice for that big meeting. Now, how are you going to get that done? Huh?
It's 22 degrees, and Andy Cabana's father has let him all about his antifreeze.
Come on, Dad, where are you?
The hard way. Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
Saturday, November 4th. Telly Savalas is back as Kojak.
He's the only one who's got all the answers.
The season premiere of the ABC Saturday Mystery, November 4th.
San Francisco World Series resuming tonight, Game 3. And on to the 4th inning we go with Dave Henderson to lead off. Then Steinbach and Phillips. And the first pitch is outside for a ball. Henderson a 2-run double off the top of the right field fence in the first inning to give Oakland the lead. You know, you walk around the area and people have said, and I'm sure they said it to you guys too, tell everybody we're okay. We're okay. We're bouncing back. The city's fine. Come on out.
He's such a clutch player for Oakland. Playoffs, World Series. Even when he had a bad playoff, the one hit he got was a home run. That was in '86. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Fine center fielder, and he's put it on a show tonight. Garrelts tried to come up a little bit different pitching better.
Here's Steinbach grounding one to short. A nice convenient hop for Matt Williams. And the A's catcher is out number 1.
Now, what Garrelts would like to do is get him out with breaking balls. He threw him 2 breaking balls, got behind, had to come in with a fastball. Still got to hit it, and that's what Dave Henderson did. All 3 really hits this inning have been hit right on the number.
And here comes Craig. It's always a tip-off when the catcher looks over into the dugout. It's almost as if he's saying he's lost it. And Kennedy took a long look into the dugout, and Craig comes out. And Kelly Downs throwing in the bullpen. And in he comes, and as we mentioned before, Craig has to manage like this is the last game of the year. Garrelt's out, Downs comes in.
Hi, Tim. Dan got sick. You're going to Paris.
Paris?
AT&T International
They're
Service.
blocking off streets all over Paris. My flight gets in at 7:15 a.m.
Whoa,
50 years
Tim,
ago.
look who we forgot. What are we going to tell him?
This is Paris. And I'm Tim Harris reporting. And down below, the Horse Guards are forming for the Bastille Day Parade.
Colonel, are you setting the route for the parade, or are you in the parade?
I have paid the parade.
AT&T USA Direct, can I help you?
Remember, honey, my parents got married in Paris. What if I find the restaurant in the wedding photo?
This thing doesn't have any name on the restaurant.
That's all right. I'll find it. Just fax me the photo.
We're at the Bastille,
where it all started 200 years ago. Behind me is the
Mom, I know how to do this.
fax for you. John, I'll call you back. Ooh, a restaurant. Can you guys make it? Hello. John, look, you're going to have to cut me a bigger hole back here. I'm getting some incredible stuff. Right?
Yes, this is my father, and this is me, the little boy.
It's Tim calling us from Paris.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Tim.
Well, hang on, I've got Kathy on a conference call with us. Now, Dad, we want to take you and Mom to dinner. It's a little place. French. Give her a kiss, Dad.
Happy anniversary. I'm so glad you made it.
AT&T Long Distance. No one else gives you this remarkable power to manage your world. No one.
Thank you for using AT&T.
Listen. Seems like only yesterday you were single, sweating through your engineering finals and driving hot cars. Today you got a new baby, a new home, your first real job, and you're driving a Chevy Corsica. Just because you got a family doesn't mean you got to settle down.
The heartbeat of America.
The cars more Americans depend on.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Thursdays, the Young Riders.
In town, the lights come on, and at Candlestick Park, the A's are trying to turn the Giants' lights out. They lead 4-1. Garrelt's leaving the game. And again, Garrelt's was hit by this line drive off McGuire's bat, ending the third inning.
Definitely, you see Weiss hit it to Clark at first. And there's two down, but that had to lead to his demise. Hit him on the right side. We really couldn't tell from the angle whether it got him in the arm or in the right rib cage. But again, if you have a kind of year that Garrelt's had, you're not going to leave the game until Roger Craig has to do what's best for his team.
Something you really can't understand either. I mean, Scott Garrelt's in 193 innings during the season gave up only 11 home runs. In postseason play, in about 18 innings, he's given up 7 home runs. 19 innings to be exact. Of course, your competition is a lot better in postseason play. You're playing against the best.
Oh, also more innings than he's ever pitched before. As you look at Kelly Downs, a couple of innings. Game 2 has pitched extremely well. Resilient, rubber arm, good slider, and he gets to face the pitcher.
And he's a hit on him, no balls and 2 strikes. Down, really one of the unsung heroes in the League Championship Series, twice coming out of the bullpen and effectively filling the role of long man. Kelly Downs, the 0-2 pitch is just outside. 1-2.
All the runs have been scored off San Francisco's starting pitchers. Bullpen has done a fine job when they've got into the games.
One ball, 2 strikes.
People sitting at home, excuse me, why you don't start a Kelly Downs after he pitched so well in the championship series? You got to go with the guys that got you to the playoffs. And again, Downs, as we said, even though he's had some shoulder problems, has shown Roger Craig a great fastball, a good slider, and again, that resilient arm that can bounce back with only a day between pitching performances.
Well, I think Craig felt that was the perfect role for Downs. reconstructed pitching staff because he could do something that he figured Garrelts couldn't do. Soft looper right into the glove of Thompson. But a couple of homers in the fourth by Dave Henderson and Tony Phillips. 4-1 is the score, and back we come after a word from our ABC stations.
He faced the outrage of a nation.
Can I be the first president to quit office?
And lost everything but the love of his family.
No man who ever lived had a more wonderful family than I have.
AT&T presents The Final Days, Sunday at 8, 7 Central.
Dear Wells Fargo, thank you for the written confirmation on a recent service I requested involving a transfer of money from one of my accounts to another using the 24-hour service. The service you now provide is most outstanding and truly appreciated. I'm impressed to the extent that I brag to others I know about the service Wells Fargo provides. I hope you'll be able to continue that service.
Wells Fargo, proven 24-hour person-to-person checking. You've got to hear it to believe it.
To succeed in California, a small business needs a phone system that can grow.
Listen, I think you need to keep your options open.
That's not so easy. I can't even find a phone system I like.
You checked out Pacific Bell's Centric system? It's totally flexible, so you can start small.
But what happens when that's not enough?
Pacific Bell just adds whatever you need right from their central office. They do it through the lines. You can even add new locations.
You think I'm going to grow that much?
Who's going to stop you?
Pacific Bell. We're making things easier.
So, you got an Eagle Premier. Mind if I ask
Sure.
What's the...
Leather-trimmed interior, European styling?
Well, then, how about...
I like what it says about me.
Sir, you're getting ahead.
See what I mean?
Give me one good reason why you chose the Eagle Premier.
High-tech engine, roominess, aerodynamics, European design.
I only asked for one.
Take your pick.
World Series fans, at post-game interviews with the players, Steve Garvey analyzes the game, and the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant is shut down after sparks fly, right here after the game.
Should David Rothenberg's father be freed? An exclusive report Wednesday at 5.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by Diet Pepsi. For great taste that's a home run every time, it's Diet Pepsi, the right one.
You know, folks, you can help the Bay Area recover from the earthquake. You can make a credit card contribution by calling 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to that address, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C., and specify that your contribution go to the Bay Area Earthquake Relief Effort. World Series resuming at Candlestick Park. Game 3, the A's are on top by a score of 4-1, and Robbie Thompson to lead off in the bottom of the fourth. Thompson, Clark, and Mitchell. Robbie struck out in the first inning and waves at a breaking pitch. It doesn't get it 0-1. One hit for the Giants. That a home run to left field by Matt Williams, which is his only hit in the series. Got the inside corner, and the count is 0-2. Down he goes on the fork or split finger. Second time he has struck out. And in 3 1/3 innings, that's 6 strikeouts for Dave Stewart. And Will Clark talking to himself as he comes up.
Well, that's the advantage of staying ahead. Dave Stewart doing a terrific job staying ahead. 6 strikeouts. And he has used those fork balls to his advantage. But if you don't stay ahead, hitters won't swing at the balls out of the strike zone.
Clark lines it into center field for a base hit. So with 1 out, a single by Clark here in the 4th inning, and the crowd comes very much alive again as Kevin Mitchell comes to the plate.
And that's the way to combat that. When they try to get ahead, hit the first pitch.
Will Clark went home, watched the films. He said, hey, Stewart, like I said, Stewart approached me fastball with nobody on, and that's what he got, and he pinged it into center field.
struck out in the second inning. Takes away ball one.
You talked about the home runs. You're looking at the home run leader in the major leagues with 47. Stewart threw 23, 3 in the playoffs, and then 1 here tonight. Never, ever a 3-run home run. No grand slams either.
That's grounded to the hole, and a base hit, and the Giants have runners at first and second. Oberfeld coming to the plate.
A similar pitch that Matt Williams hit for a home run, except this ball is a little bit farther outside. Fork ball up in the strike zone. You see it. Perfect example of Kevin Mitchell's strength. Took a ball outside and pulled it by the third baseman.
Oberfeld flying to Canseco in the second inning. 1-0.
Dave Stewart needs a ground ball, but this season he had about 100 more outs in the air than he did on the ground, which means that in a situation like this, you can't look for the double play ball as you would normally. Stewart does not throw a lot of ground balls.
Crowd chanting OB, OB. 2-0.
Yeah, but the only time you're going to see somebody hit a ground ball is if he got ahead and could throw that fork ball. Well, it's 2-0. Real good hitting situation for Oberfeld. As we told you, a patient guy. He can look for his pitch. 2-0. He knows Stewart with a 3-1 lead. Doesn't want to walk him, especially with Matt Williams on deck. He's already homered.
3-0. Oberfeld at first. Hayes infield double play depth, and Williams who homered in the second.
Struck out 72 times.
Yeah, but now with the count 0-2, you can go out of the strike zone. That's been Stewart's pattern. And he needs a strikeout here.
That home run came on a 2-1 pitch. Good point.
Williams not biting, 1-2. Jeff Brantley gets up in the Giants' pen as Craig looks ahead. Williams is hitting in the 6th spot. Kennedy is on deck. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 4th. 4-1 A's. And the 1-2 pitch to Williams in the dirt, 2-2. Couldn't pull the trigger. Perfect pitch by Stewart, and a big second out. 2 down, and Kennedy comes up. And that's 7 strikeouts for Stu.
Wonder how you win 20 games 3 years in a row. You got to make clutch pitches at clutch times. And you can't be afraid to throw the ball over the plate and challenge a hitter. Of course, that challenge was right on the outside corner.
Now Kennedy, who's been cold at the plate in postseason, swings and misses. He hit .239 during the regular season. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike on Kennedy. And that's lined into center field for a base hit. Clark comes in to score. Here comes Mitchell. The throw is cut off. It's 4-3.
Saw a clutch pitch by Stewart to Matt Williams, and now you see a clutch hit by Terry Kennedy. An outside fastball drilled up the middle. Good hitting by Kennedy.
I got to think that Stewart threw the ball exactly where he wanted to. Kennedy, who struggled really since 1987. That's the biggest hit in a couple of years.
Sheridan with 2 out takes the ball, and the count is 1-0. Giants have Oberkfell at second, Kennedy at first. It's 4-3 in the 4th. Sheridan, the number 8 hitter. In the American League Park, you wouldn't have to worry about it next with the pitcher Downs out on deck, but here it's a whole other story. And thus Brantley continues to throw in the Giants' pen for Roger Craig. 1-1 the count on Sheridan. Ball 2. Giant to hit in the inning. Downs on deck. And the 2-2 pitch is grounded to the right side. Great diving, stopped by McGuire, but the throw does get him. Stewart gets over there just in time to take care of him at first base, but the Giants get 2 to make it 4-3.
IBM presents You Make the Call. With a runner attempting to steal second, a batter swings and misses at the pitch. His bat then hits the catcher, interfering with his throw. Is the batter out? Is the runner out? You make the call.
Patty Schoenfeld is deaf, but an IBM computer lets her talk on the phone. Art Sweet is almost blind, but can read a bank statement. And Madge Pentecost has trouble using her arms, but uses a computer by aiming an infrared beam. IBM provides information about special equipment like this, so more people with disabilities can use their abilities. Write IBM, Box C-1030, Atlanta, Georgia.
Because the batter did not intentionally interfere with the catcher, he is not out, nor is the runner. However, the runner must return to first base. If you said so, you made the right call.
You can spend considerable time looking for opportunity, or you can save time by listening to this news about opportunities in energy. Demand for oil and gas is strong and should continue to grow, providing certain stocks with what we believe to be significant potential and investors with a timely opportunity. Call us. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
Today is different because today a new line of import-inspired cars has come to your neighborhood. They're called Geo. They're sold and serviced by a dealer network that's larger than Honda, Toyota, and Nissan combined. And they're designed to give you years of carefree driving. Today, the 90s begin, and we invite you to get to know Geo. They're just around the corner at your Chevrolet Geo dealer.
Who on earth could assemble in one place television journalists of such unprecedented talent and intelligence? Who indeed? But ABC News, we're America's choice.
One of the first things Dave Stewart will tell you, how do you win 20 games? You take advantage of an underrated defense. McGuire at 6'5", about 230. Well, he just heads off a ball destined for right field. Would have tied it up 4-4. Good play by Stewart covering first base, something you do all spring training and really paid off here. Great agility for the big guy.
So the Giants settle for the 2 on Kennedy's 2-run single in the 4th inning. And now on to the 5th. In the top of the order with Ricky Henderson facing Kelly Downs in the pitching side, ball 1. One thing McGuire's play did is it kept Downs in the game. Had he not been able to throw Sheridan out at first base, Craig would have been compelled to go to the bench, and then Brantley would have been in. Now you not only have Downs pitching in the top of the 5th inning, but assuming he keeps the A's close, he would probably lead off in the bottom of the 5th. Strike to Henderson, and the count is 2-1.
If young hitters could only understand that you become a better hitter when you take a pitcher's pitch. That was the 15th strike Ricky Henderson has taken during the series. It's almost a misnomer. People say, well, how can you be a better hitter if you take? The reason to take is to get ahead. And Ricky Henderson often gets ahead in the count.
2-2 the count. And now it's full.
And once again, he runs it to 3-2. You know, it brings up a perfect point. Hitters that swing at balls hardly ever get strikes to swing at, because pitchers are smart enough to know that they don't want to get them out inside the strike zone. They want to have them expand the strike zone.
And Henderson is on. So Ricky Henderson leading off, which is just the way the A's like it, not only at the start of the game, but in any particular inning. It's the 3rd time he's led off tonight, and the 2nd time he's reached. And Lansford comes to the plate. Clark holding Henderson on at first. Ricky 77 steals during the regular season and caught just 14 times. And the pitch to Lansford is inside, ball 1.
And what he makes you do, Ricky Henderson, as a pitcher, is most of the time you got to either throw a hard breaking ball or the fastball. It makes you jump because you want to get the ball to home plate in such a hurry. Ruins your timing.
1-1. Downs both times on both pitches thus far to Lansford, keeping Henderson close to first.
But again, as you mentioned, it's not the lead, it's can you stop him? When you take a look at Ricky, is he stopped? In other words, is he static? Is he stationary?
This time he goes, gets a good jump. The pitch misses, and the throw to second misses as well. And Henderson with a steal.
And there was a quick release, a good fastball, a good pitch for Kenny to throw on. No chance, because he had a running lead. His momentum was going to second base. It wasn't that his gravity was going towards the ground, going back to first base.
Another thing speed does for you, it allows you not to have to give up outs. Normally, with routine speed at first base, Lansford would be bunting in a situation like this. He may be now with the count 2 balls and a strike. But again, Henderson, after stealing second, would be more tentative stealing third until there's one out. And he looked like he may have jammed his right wrist sliding into second base.
And Dr. Clark, Al Clark, takes a look at it. Meanwhile, Henderson, 11 steals. That breaks Lopes' record in 81. And again, of course, you only had the World Series through 1969 when the leagues expanded and divided into divisions and then postseason play. And in 81, in fact, Lopes had an extra set of games because that was the year of the strike, and they had divisional playoffs as well. Inside ball 3-1 the count on Lansford. So Henderson setting the record in what would be his 8th postseason game. 5 in the playoffs and now 3 in the series. And Lansford is on. So Downs has walked the first 2 A's here in the 5th inning, and Canseco comes to the plate. And Craig goes to the mound, and what's the most important inning for Downs, because the Giants scrambling back into the game with 2 in the bottom of the 4th. And the last thing they'll want to see is the A's reestablish a 2 or 3 run cushion.
Yeah, any momentum the Giants have going for them can be stifled right here. First 2 guys on. Boy, but what a tremendous year Lansford's had. Only 1 month did he hit under 300. I think that was June. 2 months he hit over 400. 336. And Tim, you told us that's the highest since he led the American League in batting back in the early 80s.
Jose Canseco comes to the plate. He singled in the first inning to snap an 0 for 23 streak over the last 2 World Series. Then he grounded out in the 3rd. And he comes up here with runners at first and second and nobody out. A's ahead by a run, and the Giants not even remotely thinking bunt. The infield back at what would be regular depth. And it's popped foul back into the upper deck behind us, and the count is 0-1. There's Brantley again, throwing in the bullpen, up for the second time. Again, the pitcher due to lead off at the bottom of the 5th. If Craig had to go to his bullpen here in the inning, he'd probably make a double switch and send either Maldonado or Nixon into right field and have them bat 9th and the pitcher hit 8th. Henderson at second. Lansford is the runner at first. 0-1 the count. Breaking pitch. 1-1.
In this game so far, Tony La Russa having the runners running, Lansford and Canseco in the first inning with McGuire hitting. And that allowed Henderson to bat with 2 outs, and he drove them both in with a double. But had both runners not been running, McGuire may have grounded into a double play.
On the corner, and the count 2-2.
And they are trying to do, the Giants, to Jose Canseco, exactly what the Dodgers did last year in the World Series. Pound him inside, count on his aggressiveness to expand the strike zone. In other words, don't let him hit a strike. That's how they got him out last time on that questionable ball off his foot.
Pickoff play at second, and real close. Henderson going back and standing up.
That's what made it close. had he gotten down, it wouldn't have been this close. But he almost leans into the tag. That is a very, very close play.
And again, Thompson gets there. Ooh, close again.
A lot of times you'll do that to maybe cut a step or two off a runner's lead, but the way Henderson runs the bases, you're trying to pick him off. I mean, he's going to score in a single. You get a slow guy out there, you can make him a step or two back towards second. It can make a big difference for your outfielder as far as throwing somebody out. But with Ricky,
hits the next pitch in the air in foul territory. Kennedy comes all the way back, runs out of room. One thing the A's have done consistently now in postseason in the 8 games, they have taken advantage of walks time after time after time. They did it against Toronto. Breaking ball. Get it into area code 900. The count 0-2.
Yeah, that's the way to exercise the demons of World Series pass. Get a hanging slider when you're trying to make contact. You know he can hit it 550 feet. Well, he only drilled that one about 420 on the line.
And the count on McGuire is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now, if you went to any pitcher in the American League and you say, what's the one pitch you don't want to throw Jose Canseco? That's a flat slider in the center of the plate. That's what Downs did.
Breaking pitch takes care of McGuire, so Downs finally gets the first out of the 5th inning. 1 down, and it will bring up Dave Henderson, who has done his damage tonight by virtue of a double to score 2 in the first and a solo homer in the 4th. Oakland has hit 3 homers in the game. Dave Henderson, Phillips, and Canseco. And the Giants, the home run by Matt Williams.
And your point about walks, so well taken. Of the 9 Oakland Athletics that have walked, 6 have scored.
But when you look at their lineup, there are situations, of course, in baseball where you could just say all of the time, hey, you can't walk people, it'll come back to hurt. And everybody was figuring, well, the layoff would do one thing. The pitchers would be way ahead of the hitters. Say what?
Oh, Ricky Henderson said it best. Hey, we hit off some pretty good pitchers in these inter-squad games. It looked like they missed the beat.
World Series record for most home runs in a game is 6. We've had 5. Here comes Brantley, and back we come to Candlestick Park after this.
People are moving to Diet Pepsi, the right one.
We asked Mike Schmidt to help us show you why the new half-ton Chevy work truck is better than Ford, with more two-sided galvanized steel, more standard power, and a new Duragrill that's tougher than Ford.
Better not hit a Ford like this. Know why? You know why. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Today's truck is Chevrolet.
I wanted to live in the Rocky Mountain region. I enjoyed the great outdoors. I enjoyed having some time off to fish, ski, play soccer. For over 13 of us have played together now for 8 to 10 years. We just have a good time.
What Tom does is he doesn't care if we make mistakes. He doesn't get down on anybody, treats everybody fair.
Keep it down. It's all teamwork. No individual players.
A lot of these players depend on Tom Dater for their life insurance.
Good hustle, good comeback.
He's been on their team for 10 years and with New York Life for 18 years.
Well, why would I buy insurance from a stranger when I can buy it from the worst fullback in Boise?
New York Life, the company you keep.
When lunch and a day at the park are too much for Tommy Lasorda, he reaches for Rolaids. Nothing works better for acid indigestion. And why should heartburn take the fun out of the game? Relief. You know how to spell it.
Jeff Brantley comes in to pitch, and the first man he faces is Terry Steinbach. Brantley will hit in the number 8 spot, and as we had suggested, Candy Maldonado comes into the game in a double switch in right field, batting 9th, which means Maldonado, and there he is, taking Sheridan's spot in the outfield, will lead off in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1 out in the 5th inning, 8-3. Oakland. Dave Henderson with 2 home runs and a double that hit the top of the fence. 2-1 the count. Brantley used as a long man now, but as Craig looks ahead and looks down the line, he thinks Brantley will make a terrific closer. And the count 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And that's one of the reasons 91 mile per hour fastball, at least over the ability to throw it over 90 miles per hour. Pretty good breaking ball. As almost all the pitchers here in San Francisco throws the Roger Craig split finger fastball.
Still 3-2 on Steinbach. 8 runs and 8 hits for the A's, including 4 homers, 3 runs and 4 hits for the Giants, including 1 homer. And that's ball 4. So Steinbach draws the 3rd walk of the inning. Phillips comes up, home runs in 2 consecutive innings. Who's done it? It's pretty good company. Babe Ruth, Big Clue, Reggie, Willie Mays Aikens, and D. Henderson does it tonight.
And Tony Phillips could do it too. He homered in the 4th inning. Bay Day.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if Phillips, after only hitting 4 all year, hits 2 home runs in back-to-back innings, we're playing with 1987 baseballs, in spite of what it says on.
They're going out like that tonight, but that's Candlestick Park on a windless night. On a windy night, you don't know what you're going to get, because there's no such thing as a prevailing wind here. What you really have in Candlestick Park when it blows is wind shear. But tonight, and this is a typical October night, everybody making such a big deal out of what will Candlestick be like in October. It was like that in the playoffs, like that tonight, and we've got a balk. So you even have balks on windless nights at Candlestick. The most famous balk of all, of course, was Stu Miller in the wind in the All-Star game in '62. Back live, that's in for a strike, and the count 1-1.
Oh, Vic Voltaggio thought he started his windup. If you start it all and stop, of course, Jeff Brantley will tell you I stepped off before I broke my hands or I stopped my windup. Does put a runner in scoring position.
One to Phillips. Good fastball, and the count is 1-2.
I believe Stu Miller still lives around the area here. Boy, what a relief pitcher he was. Did you ever hit off him, Tim? Or try to hit off him?
I was up there against him. The head jerk, right?
Oh, the parachute ball. In fact, he originated the BP fastball. Just a routine pitch he threw in there with a neck jerk.
And Phillips has gone on strikes. Phillips, thinking it was the 3rd out, was ready to flip his helmet away. He'd already thrown the bat away. And momentarily avoids a little embarrassment, and would have had we not brought it up, I suppose. But there it is for all of you to see. Oh, yeah. 3 gone. Not quite. Okay.
That's what long innings will do to you.
Tony almost had our tape truck rolling in a commercial. 2 down, and Weiss at the plate. The count 1-0. 8-3 Oakland in the 5th inning. If the Giants go down 0-3, no team has ever overcome that deficit, but several have overcome 0-2 since the mid-50s. None before that. The first time a team came back from 0-2, it was the Dodgers winning their first ever world title in Brooklyn in '55. But since then, it's become more common than uncommon. The majority of teams since that point have overcome 0-2. 2-1. There it is, 9 of the last 17, and you don't have to go back very far. The Mets did it in '86. Royals did it in '85. And Weiss hits a bouncer to the hole. Clark fields and flips the ball to Brantley, and that's that. But a damaging inning for the Giants as the A's pick up 4 and lead it 8-3.
Small business is America's future. A recent report on
the Commerce Department said the demand for durable goods totaled 100.
The Small Business Administration foresees the increase.
Running a growing business is no small job.
We'll be here.
Managing working capital, financing, pension plans, and retirement planning.
That is right.
Today, growing businesses can look to Merrill Lynch for a wide range of services to help them achieve that most elusive goal, success. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
Open your eyes up!
Hey, check out the old timer.
Come on, will ya? Come on!
I got it.
I got it. I got it.
That was the chance of a lifetime.
I know.
Buy that man a Miller beer.
Hey, see if you can hang on to this.
The best comes shining through.
Now Chevrolet offers cash back on even more new Chevy trucks. Up to $1,250 cash back or 6.9% financing on most new Chevy trucks. Pickups, vans, Suburbans, Chevy Blazers. Now Chevrolet offers cash back on even more new Chevy trucks, which means now is the best time to see your Chevy dealer. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Today's truck is Chevrolet.
It can stop the hottest action. The Minolta Maxim 3000i. Ultra-wide angles. Over 30 autofocus lenses. Extreme telephoto zooms. It captures what no snapshot camera can, even in difficult lighting. It's the autofocus SLR that's this easy. The incomparable Maxim 3000i. Only from the mind of Minolta.
Find out about Fergie, the Duchess of York, Kathleen Turner, and Ted Danson.
I'm sweating profusely, so I guess the answer is yes.
The all-new Barbara Walters special Wednesday night.
Candlestick Park, where the game began in sunshine at about 5:30. The Goodyear blimp hovering high above Candlestick Park. John Creighton is the pilot. Sully sending the shots down from above. Candlestick Park, which was erupting in the bottom of the 4th inning as the Giants rally to get back into the game. Dave Stewart, and we mentioned Dave Stewart and what he has said over this terrible stretch of time. One of his remarks right there. And a man who we mentioned before is from the area, born and raised in what's known as the East Bay. Coming back home to enjoy the fruits of his career, and he's at the pinnacle of it right now. A man who, as many of you know, was released in 1986, looking for a job. Boy, has he ever found one. Maldonado on a half swing, hits it softly by the mound. Phillips is there to come up with it, and Candy is gone on the first pitch in the bottom of the 5th inning. So 1 away, and Brett Butler comes to the plate. Stewart released by the Phillies in '86. Told us before the World Series that wasn't the low point. The low point was 5 days later when the phone had not rung. He said that was the lowest of the low, because then you feel you may be done. Truly. Butler takes outside, ball 1.
Yeah, and such outstanding ability. I saw him pitch early '80s and into the '80s. Always had a great arm, but he's certainly become an outstanding pitcher. When I say that, I mean really mixes up his pitches well. We have not seen a curveball. He used to be a fastball curveball pitcher. Tonight he has stayed really with a fastball and the split fingered, and it's been a struggle.
Butler hits one to center field. Dave Henderson is right there. 2 down.
The one thing that Dave Stewart will do is throw the ball over. Only 1 walk tonight. That was Oberfeld last inning. So with an 8-3 lead, he's not afraid to come in there, even if he gets behind.
Well, the split finger fastball has really been his salvation. Encouraged to throw it by Dave Duncan. Interesting story about how Duncan learned about the split finger fastball.
Robbie Thompson hits a fly ball to shallow left field, and Henderson comes on, and Ricky makes the catch on the run. So a quick inning for Dave Stewart as the Giants go out 1-2-3 here in the 5th. It remains 8-3 A's, and will return after a word from our ABC stations.
Wednesday.
Duke, we're libido slaves to something that's bigger than all of us.
David, did you take out the trash?
Dookie Howser, MD. Then.
You weren't like this.
I use sex.
Not sex. Those.
Anything but love.
Ask 1,000 Californians about life in California. You'll get 1,000 different answers. Ask about plans for the future. No 2 replies will be the same. But ask who they rely on to turn vision into reality. You'll hear one name more than any other. B of A. Where more Californians save for more good reasons. To find out who's doing the job for more California savers, ask a Californian.
Your Nissan dealer is having a fall clearance. So if you need a car with more power, more room, or more of everything, see your Nissan dealer now, because he's making the best deals of the year on all his Nissans. He's offering dealer cash incentives on tough hard-body trucks, up to $1,300 in dealer incentives on the reliable Sentra, and great deals on Maxima, the most trouble-free cars sold in the U.S. So get down to your Nissan dealer's fall clearance now, because the only thing we can't give you is more time.
This is the shop of Samsat Bazaar, a thriving establishment on the outskirts of Bangkok. Unlike other international executives, he has no phone system, no computers, not even a fax machine. He does, however, enjoy one modern and efficient service nearly 4 billion people in 175 countries today can take for granted. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
World Series interviews and analysis from Steve Garvey. The LAPD busts women bowlers for making small bets on their games, and the mystery of the mystery girl is solved after the game.
Should David Rothenberg's father be freed? An exclusive report Wednesday at 5.
To the 6th inning in Game 3. Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, Tim McCarver with the A's on top 8-3, and Dave Stewart leading off. Then Ricky Henderson and Carney Lansford. And Stewart chops one off his arm at the plate. 1-1 on Stewart, who is 0 for 2 tonight, and again, no American League pitcher with a World Series hit since 1979.
Dave not worried about hits. He's worried about at-bats. If he gets up 4 times, he's pitched well.
Shallow right center. Robbie Thompson says he'll take care of it. Stewart is 0 for 3, and Ricky Henderson comes up. It's the first time in the game Henderson has not led off an inning.
Talked about Dave Stewart and that split finger fastball. Everybody thinks Roger Craig is the guru, and certainly he's the modern day guru of the split finger fastball. But we mentioned Dave Duncan. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach of the Oakland Athletics, found out about the split finger fastball in a very unusual way. Gaylord Perry, when pitching for the Cleveland Indians, there's Dave in the middle of your screen. When pitching for the Cleveland Indians in 1973, Dave told me everybody thought he was throwing splitters or spitters then, and he was throwing splitters, not spitters. And he saw how effective that pitch was and has been very helpful with the Oakland pitching staff in teaching it to them.
That's grounded sharply on a hop to third, and Overkill fires to first, and they take care of Henderson. So Rickey is gone. Henderson, by the way, that's the 35th plate appearance for him in postseason, and he's reached 21 times, and that's 60%. So 60% on and 40 off. Overkill throwing him out.
Not a tough play, but when you've been a pinch hitter all.
And Canseco at the plate takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. Hit high in the air to left field. Mitchell fading back, still going back on the track, and makes the catch. And so even the outs are long as the A's go down in the sixth. It's 9-3 Oakland.
You can spend considerable time looking for opportunity, or you can save time by listening to this news about opportunities in energy. Demand for oil and gas is strong and should continue to grow, providing certain stocks with what we believe to be significant potential and investors with a timely opportunity. Call us. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
I love what you do for me, Toyota. I love how you set me free, Toyota.
Toyota's new four-wheel drive, four-door 4Runner for 1990. Space, luxury, and V6 power. Where you go is your concern. Getting you back is ours.
I got dirty an awful lot when I was little. What am I doing here? You know this.
You're playing baseball.
Yeah, that's right. It came natural to get dirty. Johnson's baby shampoo has been great for my hair all through my life. It's strong. It makes my hair look clean. It makes my hair feel clean, and it's gentle. Look at this kid's hair. I think it looks good.
Johnson's baby shampoo, now also with conditioners for extra control.
I shower 4 or 5 times a day. It's never made me cry.
Johnson's, for the life of your hair.
George 117 in pursuit of request additional backup. Do you copy? 117. Let's get a roadblock.
Chopper 1, do you receive?
Chopper 1 coming east. I'll light it up.
More police cars come on Goodyear Eagle radios than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way. Goodyear Eagles. There really is a difference.
Happy man, Walter A. Haas Jr., his wife Evelyn. He owns the Oakland A's. He's also the managing general partner, and he is a San Franciscan. But he is more of an East Bayer in the world of baseball, as his team is now 12 outs away from being one game away, one victory away from a world title. 9-3. The A's on top as we go to the bottom of the sixth inning. Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, and Ken Oberkfell. 2 balls and no strikes the count on Clark. Hopped up in Mr. Weiss's neighborhood. 1 away. So 1 gone, and Kevin Mitchell is the batter. And with the NFL season coming up to the halfway mark, the Minnesota Vikings take on the New York Giants. A great matchup at the Meadowlands on Monday at 9 Eastern time. You'll see Herschel Walker against the Giants, leaders in the NFC East. A Great way to spend Monday night, as always, with the Gifford and Double D. And I don't know who else at this point. It's the Mitchell for a strike and the count 0-1.
The way things are going, you might make it.
Well, Game 4 here tomorrow. Game 5, if necessary, would be played at Candlestick Park on Sunday. And if the series were then to continue on, Monday would be an off day, and then Tuesday, and if necessary, Wednesday, at the Oakland Coliseum. Rolling Stones notwithstanding. Don Robinson will be tomorrow night's pitcher. Rick Russell was hit the other day by a line drive off the back of his shoulder, had a flu as well, and he's been pushed back in the rotation. Big Daddy, and there he is. I think he's feeling a little better as far as the flu is concerned. The question is his shoulder. But Robinson is in ink tomorrow, and Russell in pencil for Sunday.
You know, baseball is a marvelous game, Tim. You talked about the fact that Stewart's a fly ball pitcher, 100 more outs with fly balls and grounders, and on a night where the ball is flying, and he had to hit a home run. Excuse me, only the home run by Williams.
Only 3 ground ball outs retired by Dave Stewart. He has struck out 7 and walked only 1.
To center field, Dave Henderson moving over. And Henderson, who spent a brief part of 1987 in a Giant uniform, makes the catch. Well, we mentioned most home runs in a game, one team. The A's tying the mark tonight. The Yankees against the Cardinals. Babe Ruth hit 3. Lou Gehrig hit 1. I'm not sure if you heard of those two fellas, but I know you all remember Cedric Durst, who hit the 5th. Pitch to Oberkfell, missing ball 1, 1-0.
Yeah, his best friends called him Rick. You're certainly aware of that.
There is the Transamerica Pyramid, accentuating the skyline of San Francisco. And that's a base hit into right field by Oberkfell. So Oberkfell picks up the Giants' 5th hit. 2-out single here in the 6th inning, and Matt Williams comes to the plate. He homered in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th. Tony La Russa, Dave Duncan. Center field, relatively deep but very playable for Dave Henderson, and that's that for the Giants. Another air out. To the 7th we go. 9-3 A's.
I've been working out for quite a few years now. I found it's easier to stay in shape when I do a lot of different things. That way I never get bored. So I never quit. Oh, sorry.
I guess I'm old-fashioned. I think people should be able to eat good food without spending much money.
Excuse me.
So Wendy's is introducing a new super value menu. Oops. Everything on it is at a special low price. Biggie drinks, biggie fries, chili, including our new junior bacon cheeseburger. Delicious food that leaves change in your pocket.
Oh.
What do you have to know to get a seat around here?
Come try the super value menu at Wendy's.
You're in Hong Kong. I like it.
I like you loud and clear. I like you close and near. I like my MCI. I like to wander and roam. I like to call back home. I get more. I like my MCI. I like my MCI.
Hello, I'm Matt Williams of the San Francisco Giants. Thousands of volunteers have helped those affected by the earthquake, and you can help too. Make a credit card contribution by calling 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C. 20013. And please specify that your contribution go to the Bay Area earthquake relief effort. We thank you for your support.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by Toyota, who urges you to help relieve the suffering caused by the recent earthquake through a donation to the Red Cross.
And back at Candlestick Park, on we go to the 7th inning, Game 3 of the World Series. The Athletics trying to go up 3-0, and they lead it 9-3. Back of Dave Stewart, and on the strength of 5 home runs. Mark McGwire, who hit 33 during the regular season, has not joined the home run parade tonight. Swings and misses, and the count is 0-1.
Or during the series, only Mark McGwire and Ricky Henderson haven't homered for the A's, and that includes Dave Parker, the designated hitter. So 7 A's have combined for the home runs in this series. They have really spread it around. There's David.
Night off. No DH here. 2-1. I wonder if Parker's going to have a matching set of those earrings after the World Series.
Yeah, he said, I won't help him offensively. He said, but I'll tell you what, I can cheer. I make a great cheerleader. Oh, he had a fine year. 38, come back to have that kind of year. 22 home runs, 97 RBIs, which led the A's.
3-2 the count.
Yeah, well, there you saw Dave Henderson. You saw one earring. Probably will get the other one. With McGwire, 49 home runs 3 years ago, then 32, 33 this year. And the two guys in Major League history, the other guy, Jose Canseco, that hit 30-plus their first 3 years.
And McGwire is on, so another walk to an Oakland A. And that's been poison through postseason for the opposition. And here is Dave Henderson. Hit a double off the top of the fence, missed a home run by inches in the first. Homered in the fourth, homered in the fifth. Outside of that, nothing.
It doesn't look like the Giants pitching staff, not pitching in their squad games, are very sharp. You know, Grell struggled, Downs, who pitched well, struggled not only with control, but also the type of stuff he had, and Brantley's all over the place.
1-0 the count. Bob Lillis, Roger Craig, Norm Sherry, Bill Fahey. Quiet Giant dugout. Henderson fouls it away. The thing about Henderson and the way he responds in postseason, the dramatic home run in the 5th game of the playoffs in '86, sending the Red Sox to an eventual pennant, and then were it not for the Mets comeback in the 6th game of the World Series, he'd have won that game with a home run.
Yeah. And also a sacrifice fly in the 11th inning won it for the Boston Red Sox in Game 5 after he had tied it in the 9th.
Exactly. Lost in the shuffle. And that home run, by the way, in the 5th game of the playoffs against the Angels was his only hit in that series.
1 for 9.
2-1 to count. Atlee Hammaker gets up in the Giant bullpen. Brantley is due to hit second in the bottom of the 7th. And this will be his final inning as Henderson fouls it away. It's funny how certain guys just seem to wind up where the action is. Joe Morgan used to be that way, whether he was at Houston or Cincinnati or San Francisco when the Giants came close to winning a division crown in '82. Philadelphia, those guys would always seem to wind up in postseason action. And here's Dave Henderson. Boston in '86, the Giants in '87, though he was ineligible for the playoffs. Oakland last year, Oakland this year. Oberkfell to Thompson 1 to first for 2. So they finally get Henderson and get a bonus as well as he grounds into a double play, and there are 2 down with the bases empty. And Terry Steinbach coming up.
Yeah, I always felt that Dave Henderson was a realist, and the statement he made during the delay from the earthquake, he said, you know, when guys were complaining, a little bit impatient, he said, let them go home. They're not under contract. They don't want to hang around and play the World Series, something we have strived all year for. Let them go home.
That's grounded through Oberkfeld's legs, backed up by Williams, and too late at first base. So E5, as Ken Oberkfeld can't come up with it. And the A's with Steinbach at first base and 2 down have Phillips coming to the plate.
Ball stayed down on Oberkfeld. Watch it hug the ground. And Obi's glove is up, and it scoots on through for the first error of the ballgame.
That brings up a point you made in, I think, first in 87. If you're playing the infield, you always want to stay below the hop. In other words, a lot easier to come up than to go down. That was a perfect illustration.
I tell you, the first time I ever heard that explained in that particular fashion was from Bob Kennedy, who was the minor league director of the Cardinals back in 1973. Keep your glove below the hop.
And that's the Bob Kennedy who's Terry's dad.
Right.
And is now a Giants executive.
Now is the minor league director of the San Francisco Giants.
Two down with Phillips at the plate. And he grounds it toward the hole, but Thompson is there to one-handed on the grass and get him. At the end of 6.5, it remains 9-3 A's.
Occasionally, through the sands of time, there emerge designs which are viewed as more than evolutionary. Introducing the revolutionary 1990 Toyota Celica. Cold filtered. Never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth, real draft beer taste, the world is a very cool place, so tap into the cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
It goes with the boys that play in the dirt. It goes with the joy. It goes with the hurt. It goes with the men you can't fix in. It's there when you lose, there when you win. It's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America. It's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America.
日本経済新聞社によって2億8300万ドルで売却されました。
The finance ministers of the 7 most prosperous Western nations.
The world has become a global marketplace. Last year, Merrill Lynch helped corporations and governments raise $230 billion for building industries and creating opportunities. We're proud to have inspired that much trust. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
Next Friday, if you could live anywhere in America, where would you live? The experts pick the best and the worst. Find out on 2020 next Friday.
You know, one thing, the crowd is pretty quiet now because it's 9-3 for the opposition at Candlestick Park. It's worth noting, they were boisterous early on. It was an ebullient kind of crowd, and there was no question the people in the Bay Area overwhelmingly wanted the World Series to continue.
No question about it.
No, they've been waiting for baseball for 10 days. I think they're a little tentative now, especially the Giant fans.
Sure.
Well, there was so much talk about whether or not the World Series would have credibility and all of the rest as Kennedy begins the bottom of the 7th by popping out to Lansford. But if you were here, and we have all been here through the duration and talked to people and felt the pulse and all of that, there was no question in my mind that the overwhelming majority wanted it to be played. In fact, there was a poll yesterday, a phone-in poll. The results were in the San Francisco Examiner, the afternoon paper. 4 out of 5 said, keep on going. And it was real simple. The people who loved baseball wanted baseball. The people who were ambivalent about baseball before were going to be ambivalent after. It didn't matter to them. But it was an option. It was a choice. And certainly the response tonight of this crowd with Ernest Riles hitting here for Brantley has proven it in spades. As we say right now, it's quiet because their team is down by 6, but you could really feel it during the pregame ceremonies at the start of the game when Matt Williams hit his home run and when the Giants rallied for 2 in the 4th. I mean, they were really into it. There's a high fly ball to center field, but room there for Dave Henderson. Backing up over the track. And Riles is out number 2. So 2 down here in the 7th inning. And Candy Maldonado comes to the plate. Adley Hamaker has made his way in from the bullpen. He'll be the new pitcher in the top of the 8th inning. There's Adley.
You talk about momentum, the crowd being in the ball game. You got to go back to that great play that McGuire made. Have Stewart on the ropes, the diving, sprawling play to end the inning in the 3rd. That would have tied it up. Checked at the 4th inning.
And if he doesn't get him at first base, the other thing that would have done is it would have made Craig hit for Downs, and as it turned out, Downs didn't have it tonight.
3-run home run by Canseco in the next inning.
Oh, 2 pitch is taken high, ball 1. 1-2.
A lot of people would argue, of course, the Dodgers had the lowest earned run average in all of Major League pitching. They don't have a DH over there in the National League, but 2nd consecutive year, the A's have led the American League in earned run average. There's a reason for that.
Postseason play, no pitcher winning 2 games in both the Championship Series, the World Series in the same year. Stewart trying to do it tonight.
There was, however, a pitcher that won 4 games in postseason play. That was Bert Hooton back in 1981. But one of those games was in the Divisional Championship Series when the Dodgers played the Houston Astros. They won 1 in the Divisional Championship Series, 2 in the NLCS, and 1 in the World Series.
Maldonado barely stays alive in the count. 3-2. Rick Honeycutt in the bullpen. As Maldonado goes down on strikes. And for Smoke Stewart, that's number 8. On to the 8th.
I'm tired of us centers getting no recognition. I played 13 seasons in front of millions of fans, made All-Pro twice, and started in 3 Super Bowls. Yet no one knows who I am. Hey, even if I'm not well known, at least my beer is. Miller Lite. An All-Pro center doesn't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great. Let me get that.
Hey, aren't you Randy Cross?
It's well known. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
I told him you can't hide from computers forever.
He got burned once. Already got one big expensive computer system in the storeroom. The only guy that could work it moved to L.A.
What good's a computer if nobody uses it?
I hear he's working on a new system.
He said he won't let his people work on anything he can't use himself.
Maybe this computer's different.
Macintosh has the power to change the way you feel about computers. The power to be your best.
I'll be. I'll be.
Even when all of Company B heads for the phone, it's no problem for Gail Godfrey.
Delta Airlines, Gail Godfrey.
Y'all fly to Lubbock, Texas?
Yes, that is confirmed.
I got some friends who want to talk to you now. Just hold on a second. Thank you. Cincinnati, Ohio. New York City. Monroe, Louisiana. Albuquerque, New Mexico. San Jose, California. Portland, Oregon. Phoenix, Montana.
You're all set. Thank you for calling, Delta.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Gail. Did you get many calls this afternoon?
1.
Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. I love what you do for me, Toyota. I love how you set me free.
Oh, Larry.
A true double play.
Oh, Valky.
Watch Perfect Strangers in action next Friday.
Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, Tim McCarver to the 8th inning. Atlee Hammaker is the new Giant pitcher. And Walt Weiss leading off for the A's. 0-1 the count. Weiss, and then we're going to see a pinch hitter. Dave Stewart has gone to the clubhouse. He's done after 7. Lance Blankenship has come out on deck. And then we'll see Ricky Henderson. There's a chopper, and it is a fair ball fielded by Oberkfell. Throw too late. So Weiss legs out an infield single. Looks like it may have even bounced off the corner of the plate and high in the air, and so Weiss is on.
And Will Clark does all he can. He tries to cheat. Watch him leave the base just a tad early. He tried to get it, but it appeared that Weiss just beat the play. Good call by Dutch Renner.
Here is Lance Blankenship getting his first chance to play in the World Series. This year, spent some time at Tacoma, 25 games in AAA, 58 games with the A's. He is the only rookie on the A's roster. And he looks at a strike and the count 0-1. He can play the outfield or second base.
He assumed the role of a utility man with Weiss out with a knee injury for about 65 ball games.
And he fouls it away and the count is 0-2.
Like a pretty good right fielder. I saw him make some excellent plays in Baltimore this summer.
Very unusual that he's the only rookie on the Oakland roster also, because Canseco, McGuire, and Walt Weiss were rookies of the year 3 consecutive seasons, 86, 7, and 8. So by saying that Blankenship's the only rookie on the Athletics club is by no means to say that they're an old ball club.
1-2.
I think they have the makings of dynastic proportions.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's going to worry a lot of teams in the American League.
Right.
99 wins, 104 last year.
And not only that, but as they say with Henderson on deck, they're prouder of what they've done this year. With Canseco gone half the year and Weiss gone half the year, and Eckersley was out for a quarter of the season. And they were able to withstand the challenges of the Royals and the Angels. I mean, for most of the season, you had the 3 best records in baseball, all in the American League West.
Kansas City winning over 90 games. The same with the Angels. I think they won 91. Stayed right with them.
2-2 is ripped back through the middle for a base hit. Weiss will stop at second as Butler's throw comes in. And so back-to-back singles beginning the 8th inning, and Ricky Henderson will be coming to the plate. A's on top 9-3. Game 4 tomorrow, Saturday. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. We'll be with you.
Boy, no chance. A lot of hard hit balls tonight.
Mike Moore, who was the winner in Game 2 tomorrow, and Don Robinson pushed up ahead of Rick Russell to work. 8 o'clock Eastern time from Candlestick, mañana. Ricky Henderson. Mentioned before, Henderson, one of the few A's who is at the park because he lives on this side of the bay. And if Tony La Russa did, well, I guess, one thing wrong in this World Series, he had the team bus leave a little too late today at 1:45 with the Bay Bridge down and down until the end of November. That cuts off the major artery and meant the A's had to come over on the San Mateo Bridge with a lot of traffic, and they didn't get here till about 20 after 3, unless they had a shortened batting practice. Though you'd never know it. Actually, when I think about it, maybe La Russa was dead right. They didn't leave it in the cage.
Didn't leave it in the rehearsal hall, did they?
No. But Henderson lives here in Hillsborough, where the elite meet to eat. He's among the elite. And that's hit in the air to center field. Brett Butler backs up. The runners are both tagging. Weiss is on his way to third, and then Blankenship holds at first as the throw comes into second. So Weiss moves up 90 feet. The A's now have runners at the corners as Henderson skies to center, and Carney Lansford comes to the plate.
Yeah, good play by Brett Butler. It seems like it's insignificant, but trailing 9-3. But I'll tell you what, your motion wants you to have you keep the guy at second, but he doesn't throw that well. Good sense is let him go to third, keep the double play in order. Ricky's saying that could have been the 6th home run. He got a high slider and just got it up on the bat.
Lansford chops one, and Oberkfell can't get it, and that'll score a run as Blankenship comes in, or Weiss comes in, and it's juggled by Mitchell, and another run scores as Blankenship crosses the plate following Weiss, and the A's add 2 more and lead it 11-3. And for Lansford, his 3rd hit, he has a single, a walk, a home run, and now a chopping base hit.
Outstanding base running by Lance Blankenship. Going to third, making Mitchell hurry on the throw, and because Blankenship went to third, he's allowed to come home because it's the 2nd error of the game against the Giants.
It's a single, it's 1 run batted in, it's an error on Mitchell. It's 11-3, and the batter is Jose Canseco. Little squibber to short. Williams throws to first, and that's too late as Clark has to come off the bag. And Lansford goes to third. And the 2 third basemen get together, and it's almost as if Oberkfell said to Lansford one of those nights, and Carney said, yeah, I know.
You can see Williams, he hurries, but Canseco can run. And right here, Clark trying to stay on the base. He is safe. But I tell you what, Lansford, who was at second, went to third. I think Will Clark's thinking, hey, he may go home. Kind of undoubtful in an 11-3 ball game, but I think Will had Lansford on his mind.
McGuire hits one in the air, twisting foul, and dropping back out of play. 0-1. So Canseco with a single. He has 3 hits tonight. The A's have 13. And strangely, McGuire has none of those. And he's the cleanup hitter. So on a night when they tie the World Series record for most homers in a game, the man in the 4-hole hasn't hit the ball out of the infield.
Of course, one of those did a lot of damage. The ball off Scott Garrelt's right side eventually led to Scott leaving the ball game. Barrage of a couple of home runs.
0-2 the count. A's ahead 11-3. So all 3 games routes to this point. 5-0 Oakland in game 1. 5-1 Oakland in game 2. Not quite routes, but mini routes. Certainly domination because of the pitching.
They've outscored the Giants 21-4.
That is a collective rout.
Right.
Lefferts throwing in the bullpen. That's hit back off Hamaker's glove. Thompson is there. Off balance throw. Gets him for the 2nd out, but coming in to score is Lansford to make it 12-3. So McGuire will get an RBI, 1-4-3. 3rd run across in the inning. Down to second on the play goes Canseco, and Dave Henderson comes up.
Well, not hit hard off the fist. And you can just see what makes Robbie Thompson such a good second baseman. That's great range. Told you about his bad arm. Doesn't get a lot on this, but McGuire does not run well. 2 down.
1-0 the count. Robinson in the middle of your picture is the man who goes to the mound tomorrow, and he'll try to preserve a start for the other man who was in your picture, Rick Russell. That's one that sliced foul down the line and back out of play. And the count 1-1.
Probably wondering what Don Robinson is thinking about after watching the home run barrage by the A's. But professional pride makes you think you're going to pitch better than your teammates. You're going to learn from their mistakes. They like Don Robinson because he's got such a tremendous competitive nature. Knee problems kept him from pitching as much as he'd like.
Well, a 12-3 lead. Dave Henderson finds a way to go to first base the hard way.
And I'll tell you what, somebody from San Francisco is going to go down next inning because this is a purpose pitch.
Yeah, earlier in the game, it didn't appear to be intentional, but this one appears to be certainly more intentional than earlier.
Yeah, you know, if you're Tony La Russa, you don't want to see your guys get hit. You know, also, you don't want to get throwing contest, because what happens, most guys get hurt. I mean, either one of somebody on your team or whatever. But the one thing Tony will not stand for is guys throwing at Dave Henderson's or McGuire's or Canseco's. You just can't let it happen.
1-0 pitch is whacked into left field for a base hit. Mitchell comes up with the ball as Canseco rounds third, and he comes in to score. And it's 13-3 on a single by Steinbach as he joins the hit parade. That's his first hit of the night. Roger Craig goes to the mound, and Craig Lefferts will very possibly be summoned into the bullpen, and you can turn that possibly into definitely. So in will come Lefferts, the sprinter. With the A's on top 13-3.
Most men won't even discuss it with their wives, but when they start losing their hair, they talk about it with me. I say, don't waste your time with those miracle formulas. The Food and Drug Administration says there's no proof that they grow hair. The thing to do is to see a doctor. Doctors have the only treatment programs that are proven to work. Men listen because they know I'm making sense. After all, I'm a doctor.
Only your doctor has treatment programs that work. So see your doctor or call this toll-free number.
Well, fans, it all comes down to this moment. This is where it all gets decided. Johnson steps in, checks the signs, makes a few adjustments. This is a classic confrontation. He's digging in. Here's the delivery. And there it goes. He's going back, way back. It is going. It is gone.
Pepsi, a generation ahead.
The ball game's over.
Introducing the 1990 Toyota Celica. Its totally new shape will please your sense of design. And the way it moves will stimulate your sense of excitement. The all-new Toyota Celica. You'll love what it does for you.
This is the shop of Samsat Bazaar, a thriving establishment on the outskirts of Bangkok. Unlike other international executives, he has no phone system, no computers, not even a fax machine. He does, however, enjoy one modern and efficient service nearly 4 billion people in 175 countries today can take for granted. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Behind the closed doors of Richard Nixon's White House, a private look at the fall of an American president. AT&T presents The Final Days, Sunday.
Eighth inning, it's 13-3 Oakland. Craig Lefferts comes in to pitch, and Tony Phillips becomes the ninth A to bat in the eighth. And the pitch away, ball one. So the A's with 2 on, 2 out, 4 over in the inning. Ricky Henderson's mom, like Bobby. She moved recently, had a new phone installed, gave her son the number and said, Ricky, don't lose that number. Oh, no, stop it. Yeah, well, it's 13-3. What do you want? 1-1. Oh, help me, Rhonda. That is Ricky's brother, Tyrone. One and one to count. Ball 2, 2-1.
Tyrone loved that line.
Yeah. So did Dave Henderson.
So did Dave, yeah, right.
Guess which team's ahead? That's hit in the air to center field. Brett Butler is there. And he makes the catch. But the A's bat around in the 8th. They had 4. And at the end of 7.5, it's 13-3 Oakland.
How to get your package through a Mediterranean storm. Most Federal Express overseas employees are from overseas, so they not only know the local customs regulations, they know the local customs. And that helps your package sail right through. Because when delivering in Rome, it helps to be a Roman. Federal Express, the best way to ship it over here is now the best way to ship it over there.
McDonald's has a monster of an idea. Happy Halloween certificates. A book of 10 is only $1. Your gang can turn them in for free dessert treats like cones and sample-sized sundaes at McDonald's. Each book also comes with a mail-in certificate for this free Roger Rabbit when you buy your video cassette of the smash hit Who Framed Roger Rabbit. McDonald's Happy Halloween certificates. A deal so good, it's eerie.
There's something elemental in us all. A basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. Rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
Over its life, a Motorcraft battery delivers enough energy to light up a small park. Like Candlestick Park. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Now, what makes me look so successful? This watch? Well, it's absolutely worthless in a business situation. When I leave the room, it leaves the room. My brochure stays behind. Think about it.
Find out about Fergie, the Duchess of York, Kathleen Turner, and Ted Danson.
I'm sweating profusely, so I guess the answer is yes.
The all-new Barbara Walters special Wednesday night.
13-3, the A's on top. Those in yellow making a change or coming into the game. The new right fielder, Stan Javier. He'll hit in the 2 spot. Lance Blankenship, the second baseman, stays in the game, hits 9th. The new pitcher is Rick Honeycutt, who will bat in the 3 spot. Canseco comes out of the game. Tony Phillips at third base now moves over from second. So you saw the defensive alignment as Honeycutt takes the mound after Stewart goes 7. And Donnell Nixon will lead things off against Honeycutt. So Nixon batting for Butler. He'll be followed by Thompson. And Litton has already come out on deck, so even Robbie will come out of the game. And then Clark. 2 hopper to short. One-handed by Weiss over to McGuire. And quickly 1 away. Robbie Thompson due up, and Greg Litton to bat for him to make his first appearance. Goodyear Blimp hovering high above Candlestick Park, where they have begun to file out, as you might suspect. But Did we get an official attendance figure tonight? We'll have to round that up for you. It was totally sold out as Litton grounds one just out of the outstretched reach of Weiss into center field for a base hit. So Litton is on with one out in the 8th inning, and Will Clark will come to the plate.
Well, Litton, who had an excellent year, a utility player, can play a little bit of the outfield, infield. An alley hitter, and he does what you want to do when you're trailing by 10 runs, 13-3. Hit it back up the middle. Another perspective, you got a pretty good idea of what kind of range Weiss has at shortstop. Almost got to that ball.
The attendance tonight, 62,038. And it's just about total capacity. Clark fouls it away. I thought, actually, the only people who probably didn't show up are those who may have thrown away their ticket stubs or lost them. I know a lot of people obviously came to town and then had to leave town for whatever reason. But about as close to capacity as you can come, though they have begun to filter away. 0-1 on Clark. Of course, for those who have followed this franchise through the years, it is some sight to see this place filled. The Giants were a team that were a step away from leaving the area in the mid-70s, the nadir of the franchise. Horace Stoneham starting to run out of money. In fact, it precipitated the great line by then third base coach Joe Amalfitano in 1974 when Patty Hearst was abducted and nobody had any idea as to her whereabouts. Joey said, why don't they check the upper deck? Nobody's been there for 5 years. Clark fouls it away in the count 1-2. But Bob Lurie took over in 76, and back came the franchise and the A's as well under the Haas family. And now the Bay Area, once thought by some to be unable to support two teams, does so now to the tune of next year probably over 5 million people. Will Clark runs into Rick Honeycutt. Joe DiMaggio next to Bobby Brown. And Joe, and you've probably been reading about him with his home in the Marina District, but he is now, we understand, able to move back into it. I'm not sure he is in it, but I know he is able to. The house has been checked.
Will be without natural gas for about 5 months, though. Some of the pipeline's still broken.
Kevin Mitchell takes a strike in the count 0-1. Well, the earthquake, of course, knows no boundaries, and it's brought home when you take a look at that shot of DiMaggio waiting in a line with his neighbors, trying to check his home last week. 1-1.
There is a fella in the ballpark tonight, as a matter of fact, who was going to move into his home on the same street on which Joe DiMaggio lives, and that's Bob Welch. He was going to move in November 1st. Cosmetic damage done to his home.
Grounded to Phillips at third. He waits for Blankenship to get over for the force, and the Giants are done in the 8th. On to the 9th, 13-3 in front of Joe D.
Hi. Oh, I haven't seen you guys in so long.
Well, we can never agree on a restaurant, right?
Hey, I ordered already. I found us a great wine.
Oh, a decision maker. Oh, this is wonderful wine. I had this at David's.
I served this at my place. It was a big hit.
You guys, I was hoping you hadn't tried it yet.
Oh, come on. Look, we finally found something we all agree on, you know? I mean, when was the last time that happened?
Ernest and Julio Gallo invite you to try White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
I gotta meet her.
Down, boy.
Oh, it's now or never.
Attention, shoppers. You're at a romantic dinner at her place. Candlelight, wine, something with a little spinach in it. And for dessert,
Come on.
humble pie. If she sees your dandruff.
I don't have dandruff.
Fine. Use your regular shampoo.
I can't have dandruff.
Aisle 9.
You mean you use Head and Shoulders?
Yeah.
But you don't have dandruff.
Right. Neither will she.
Head and Shoulders.
Hi.
Because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
There are a lot of guys out there with bulging biceps. There are a lot of guys out there with 21-inch necks. There are a lot of guys out there with bad intentions. But there's only one guy out there who can beat all those guys up, and that's Mike Tyson. These days, he does his best work on HBO. Nobody brings it home like HBO.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm old-fashioned. I think people should be able to eat good food without spending much money.
Excuse me.
So Wendy's is introducing a new super value menu. Oops. Everything on it is at a special low price. Biggie drinks, biggie fries, chili, including our new Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. Delicious food that leaves change in your pocket.
Oh.
What do you have to know to get a seat around here?
Come try the super value menu at Wendy's.
Heisman Trophy candidate Anthony Thompson leads Indiana into Michigan to face the 5th-ranked Wolverines. Big Ten rivals kick off an ABC college football doubleheader Saturday.
For the Giants now, Donnell Nixon to hit for Butler. Spells Brett in center as well, hitting in the 1 spot. Greg Litton, who batted for Robbie Thompson, takes Robbie's spot at second. Hitting in the 2 spot, Kurt Manwaring comes in to catch. Terry Kennedy is done for the night. Kurt hitting in the number 7 spot. And to the 9th inning we go. 13-3 A's. Craig Lefferts delivers to Walt Weiss. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Weiss hitting for the 5th time in the game, and when your number 8 hitter comes up 5 times in the game, you know you've had a big night. Dennis Eckersley. Not much to do tonight. No saves on this horizon. 2-1.
Tell you, the more you think about it, when Dave Henderson was hitting the top of the 8th inning, Rick Honeycutt didn't retaliate in the bottom of the 8th inning, and I think that was a very shrewd move. And the reason, I think literally you let sleeping giants lie in this particular instance. I mean, the A's have just blown the Giants out 3 games in a row, and they don't want them to get off the mat.
Nope, not at all. You're exactly right. There's Litton underneath it with Maldonado in the neighborhood. 1 away. Weiss is gone. Blankenship comes up. Roger Craig looking as much like Lyndon Johnson as ever. And we can tell you this telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. So this World Series, after the long and unprecedented and tragic, of course, delay, resuming and really picking up where it left off. Domination by the A's. And his life kind of comes back to normal. Baseball is back, and football played in the Bay Area by the colleges and by the 49ers. I guess we really knew it was back a week after the quake last Tuesday, when a local insert in the morning news show here had as its lead Zsa Zsa in her impending sentence. I guess that really brought it back to reality, huh?
Sure did. 3 days in the jail of your choice.
I wonder if they have room service. 2-1.
Yeah, that was her biggest concern. She didn't want to eat fattening food. I wonder if they put stars on their menu. You know, these are the healthy dishes.
A little squiver off to the right of the mound, and it's overrun by Lefferts, and then Clark Sweet nets nothing but air, and Blankenship is aboard again. So Lance, who pinched it in the 8th inning and singled, will not get a base hit this time. They're going to charge Lefferts with an error.
3rd error, and it is a tough play because Blankenship, we've already seen his speed on the bases. Greg Lefferts knows he has to hurry. You see Clark with a abort late tag right here. He's going to take it himself. Doesn't come up with it. Be the 3rd error.
Now Ricky Henderson up for the 6th time in the game. Looks for the strike.
Tell you, if the Giants continue to play like this and the A's continue to play like this, the Athletics are going to be in the driver's seat like Jaja. Also.
All right. And they'll be getting all that new jewelry as well. And the Giants will now be faced with a task that no team has been able to accomplish. Down zip 3 and win the World Series. In fact, win any postseason series, including the playoffs. Strike 1-2. Don Robinson goes to the mound tomorrow. He would have pitched in the original Game 3 the night of the quake. Bob Welch would have pitched in the original Game 3 the night of the quake, and each pushed back. For Mitchell. Blankenship gets back to first. Henderson hit that one off the end of the bat and still gave it a pretty good ride. 2 down.
Saw that shot of Bob Welch. He was telling us before the game that he and his wife had looked for that house on the same street as Joe DiMaggio for 18 months and had yet to move in it. Closed it, and then the earthquake hit. About 10 days before he was supposed to move in.
Mike Gallego will now pinch hit here in the 9th inning. Gene Nelson in the bullpen. What they did, they moved Javier when he came into the game into the 3 spot. We had assumed they were going to put him in the 2 spot. Normally you take the non-pitcher and move him higher in the order, but they're staying on deck batting in the 3 spot. So Gallego is really hitting for Honeycutt, and we'll see Nelson in the 9th inning. And Gallego fouls it back. And there is Gino, who will finish it up. One and 2. Softly to right, loved by Maldonado, and the Giants come up in the bottom of the 9th, trailing by 10.
I love what you do for me, Toyota. I love how you set me free, Toyota.
Whether it's car of the year, truck of the year, most trouble-free, or #1 in customer satisfaction, Toyotas are always being singled out. No wonder there are more Toyotas on the road today than any other import.
I love what you do for me, Toyota. I put a spell on you.
Miller Genuine Draft.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing. And it shows.
We love to fly.
He's the kid.
And it shows.
McDonald's has a monster of an idea. Happy Halloween certificates. A book of 10 is only $1. Your gang can turn them in for free dessert treats like cones and sample-sized sundaes at McDonald's. Each book also comes with a mail-in certificate for this free Roger Rabbit when you buy your video cassette of the smash hit Who Framed Roger Rabbit. McDonald's Happy Halloween certificates. A deal so good, it's eerie.
From now on, nobody uses a drop of water in this house without written permission from me. They don't use this much water at SeaWorld.
Family Matters, next Friday.
Candlestick Park, 13-3. How about this game in microcosm? Dave Henderson, Tony Phillips, Jose Canseco, Hindu again, and Carney Lansford. 5 home runs. Dave Stewart, meanwhile, pitches well enough, and the A's are 3 outs away from being 1 game away from their first world title since 1974. Ken Oberkfell is the batter. Funny, the last time a team scored 13 runs in a World Series game, the Cardinals did it against Milwaukee in 1982, and there's the new defensive alignment for Oakland. In that game, in that 13-1 Cardinal win over the Brewers, Oberkfell was a Cardinal. So he's seen it from both ends.
I think that was game 6 in St. Louis. John Stuper, the winning pitcher, and he pitched a complete game with about a 3-hour rain delay in that ball game.
Meanwhile, the Giants on the short end of the biggest run output in World Series history. The Yankees scoring 18 in a game in 36. Yankees got 16 against the Bucks in 60, but of course Mazeroski ended that World Series with a dramatic home run and a Pirate title. 3-1 on Oberkfell. Will Clark, he was 1 for 4 tonight. And a walk to Oberkfell. So Gene Nelson, the third pitcher, and you saw the new defensive alignment with Tony Phillips moving to left, Mike Gallego now at third, and Matt Williams coming to the plate. Giants 3 runs tonight, but only 6 hits, and what that means is the Giants have 15 hits in almost 3 complete games.
2 extra base hits, a homer and a double in 3 games.
0-1 on Williams. Andy Maldonado and the Giants go home tonight and come back tomorrow, and we'll be with you at 5 o'clock local time, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern for Game 4. Shallow left center field. That was Phillips giving way to Hindu, and Dave Henderson makes the catch. Well, you're seeing all that Tony Phillips can do tonight. He even gets into that picture for us, and we talked about him. He's moved from second to third, and there he is in left field. With Ricky on the bench for the rest of the night. 1 away. Tony Phillips. What LaRousse is able to do tonight, too, is get everybody some action. Gets Blankenship into the game. Javier. Van Waring takes outside, ball 1.
It's turned into a game like yesterday's game that the A's played against their Winter Instructional League team. Trying to get everybody in the game and get some work.
Little looper to shallow right field, and coming in and not able to make the catch is Javier, as Van Waring almost runs up the back of Oberkfell, who winds up finally at third with Van Waring at second. So a little dunker down the line winds up as a double. It's the Giants' 3rd extra base hit of the World Series. And with runners at second and third, Bill Baith comes up to bat for Lefricks.
The reason Oberkfell pulls up is because of Javier's excellent speed. He almost makes the play. He's played a lot of center field, a lot of right field when Canseco was injured early in the year with a wrist injury. He almost turned a double into an out. Ken held up, almost got run right by.
Bill Baith, he's Here's the answer to a trivia question. He and a couple of others who have both performed for the A's and the Giants. He was with Oakland in 86 and 39 games. And this year up and down between here and Phoenix.
Roger Craig really loves his bat. Hurt his shoulder a couple of years ago. Snapped his collarbone in two in winter ball. So his throwing has been a problem, but they think he may be starting Giant catcher in 19.
Drive to deep left field. Tony Phillips goes all the way back, and that one is gone. Stayed with us, you have just watched a little bit of World Series history. 7 home runs in a game.
First World Series at bat for Bill Bate. A 3-run homer, regardless of the score. Feel pretty good about that, huh? First World Series at bat, a 3-run homer.
The next pitch is drilled foul by Maldonado, and the count is 0-1. How many guys have homered in their first World Series at bat? Well, it's happened on 20 occasions. The last time, Canseco, last year when he hit the grand slam against Tim Belcher. Meanwhile, of all things, don't ask me why, the lights are out in deep right center field. I don't think that has anything to do with any sort of a tremor or whatever. We've not felt a thing. And in fact, in all of the years I have come to this park, it is not that uncommon to see a light bank go out. So I don't think it's anything necessarily more than some sort of localized problem, but it's enough so that it does change it to the extent that the plate umpire Vic Voltaggio and Roger Craig will get together. And what will they decide to do? And Roger says, okay, let's keep going. We've got enough light. Rogers looking for, though, right now is the light at the end of this tunnel. (13-6) is the score. Well, in a World Series we will never forget, obviously. They're going to wrap this one up without a light bank. 1-1 to count. There it is. Somebody didn't pay the bill. Meanwhile, the crowd in the upper deck in center field lighting matches, flashlights. A lot of people came with flashlights tonight. Two the count. Looks like the backdrop for Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star here. And called strike 3. And Maldonado would like to blame it on the lights, but he's blaming it on Voltaggio.
See for yourself, 2-2 pitch. Andy thinks it's slow. Vic thinks it's not. They always get the last word. 2 down. Nixon is at the plate with 2 out in the 9th inning. And time called as somebody throws a ball onto the upper deck.
finish even that play flawlessly, as the A's have done defensively through the whole series. 1-0 the count.
The only error the A's have made on the first play of the game back in game 1. That was Dave Stewart's throwing error.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm looking at all of these flashlights. It's incredible how many people brought flashlights to the game tonight. I mean, they brought the emergency kit right with them. The ballpark twinkling. And it's grounded in the center for a base hit. Nixon with a 2-out single in the 9th inning. And Greg Litton comes to the plate. And Todd Burns throws in the bullpen. And Dave Duncan's going to visit the mound. And actually, it's LaRussa who's going to visit the mound. After Duncan had started out, Tony says, nope, I'll take care of it, and bring in a reliever.
Announcing a new generation of owner satisfaction. We're so sure you'll love your new Oldsmobile, we'll let you return it within 30 days or 1,500 miles if you don't. Who else does that? Unlike some warranties, Oldsmobiles covers just one part. This is the part. Oldsmobile now offers roadside assistance around the clock, even in places where there aren't any clocks. The Oldsmobile Edge, there's nothing else like it.
Well, fans, it all comes down to this moment. This is where it all gets decided. Johnson steps in, checks the signs, makes a few adjustments. This is a classic confrontation. He's digging in. Here's the delivery. And there it goes. He's going back, way back. It is going. It is gone.
Pepsi, a generation ahead.
The ball game's over.
IBM technology is helping to explore the Earth's crust. Conventional methods probe to about 5 miles. But at Cornell University, an IBM supercomputing system analyzes seismic data at such high speed, geologists are now charting the Earth's crust 20, 25, even 30 miles deep. In geology, in other sciences, and in business, supercomputing is another example of IBM technology at work.
From now on, nobody uses a drop of water in this house without written permission from me. They don't use this much water at SeaWorld.
Family Matters, next Friday.
Greg Litton to hit here in the 9th inning, facing Todd Burns. The A's are an out away from wrapping it up. They lead 13-6. The Giants have Nixon at first base. 2 down. And the pitch away for ball 2. And that's grounded fair down the left field line and into the corner. Nixon heading toward third. Phillips tracking it down in foul territory. Nixon around third. He'll come in to score on a double by Litton. So it is 13-7. And Will Clark comes to the plate.
Litton's second base hit. Good hitter's count. You see the first pitch to Clark. It's high. I don't know if they ever came back from 10 runs, but I do know they came back from trailing by 7 and by 9.
did in the regular season. In Cincinnati, in a game in which they'd taken most of the regulars out, they came back and at one point were down 8-0 in that game, and then they erased a 7-run Dodger lead in September as well. Matt Young is in the bullpen.
In that game in Cincinnati, Will Clark was taken out for a rest, and Mike Alaga, a first baseman that is not on the San Francisco roster, figured prominently in that game. Had a game-winning 2-run homer.
And he also had a huge 3-run double on Hershiser in a 3-2 victory in September, and Clark has walked. So, runners at first and second, and this walk in the park has become a little something different for La Russa and Dennis Eckersley. All of a sudden goes to the bullpen, and Dave Duncan goes to the mound. If nothing else, this is not what La Russa wanted to happen, in the sense that if he gets Eckersley up, he wants him to pitch. He doesn't want to waste him throwing on a night when he doesn't pitch. He's real careful about that, but he doesn't have that luxury right now. He's got to get him up. To 7. In the ninth inning, the Giants have hit around. Mitchell 1 for 4 tonight. So maybe the Giants have found the secret. Just turn out a bank of lights in center field. They are still without power. 1-1. And it's 1-2. So Burns is within a strike now.
It's a funny thing. We lose power in a night where the most power ever as far as home runs has been exhibited here in a World Series game. 7 home runs in this game, and now the power is coming back sporadically.
1-2 on Mitchell. Breaking pitch lifted to left field, but right toward Phillips, who has to back up, and that's it. So the Giants in the ninth send 9 to the plate, get 4, but come up well short, and the A's are 1 victory away from their first World Championship in 15 years. And the Giants are looking right into the face of a task that no team has been able to accomplish, down 0-3 to come back to win either a World Series or a League Championship Series. So on a night when a new record is set for most home runs in a World Series game, a total of 7 on this winless night at Candlestick Park, Don Robinson is faced with the task now tomorrow of keeping the Giants alive, and he's down on the field with Joe Morgan. Joe?
Thank you, Al. Donnie, I feel that of all the Giants starters, you're probably best suited to pitch against the A's down 3-0. How do you feel about tomorrow's start?
Well, Joe, you know our backs are against the wall now, and I got to come out tomorrow and try to throw some quality pitches. Hopefully we can grab a lead early, and hopefully that we can just play better than what we did tonight.
You see anything different in the scouting report that you want to try tomorrow?
Well, you know, they're hitting the ball pretty well. I think tonight, without the wind blowing, a lot of balls went out of the ballpark tonight that wouldn't have on a normal night here. So hopefully for me tomorrow night that the wind will be blowing and it'll be a regular Candlestick night.
How's your knee?
Well, I won't know that until I warm up tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be okay.
Thanks and good luck.
Thanks, Joe.
Back to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Joe. And, of course, the big man tonight for the Oakland A's, big man among many, Dave Henderson. He began the night by hitting a ball off the top of the fence, Pat Sheridan leaping. He was there vertically but not horizontally as it bounced off the pipe and came back, and that double scored 2 runs to put Oakland on top. Then, in the 4th inning, Henderson leading off against Scott Gereltz hit this drive to right center field that was gone. And then in the 5th inning, after Canseco had hit a 3-run homer, Henderson hit that shot and it was gone. He subsequently hit into a double play, and then he was made to pay a price in the 8th inning when he was hit by a pitch. And Hindu is with Gary Thorne. Gary?
Thank you, Al. Hindu can do. That's the sign in Oakland in the outfield, and Hindu did tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was a whole team effort, and, a lot of guys pitched in, and we hit the ball well tonight and, put 11, 12 runs on the board. And makes it easy for the whole team.
You were just saying it's a matter of timing. You make some outs, too, but tonight the timing was perfect.
I think that's the name of baseball. You can go 0 for 4 and you get a base hit in the 9th inning to win it, you're a hero.
Look, you guys didn't even take batting practice today, or it had to be shortened because you couldn't get over here in time, and still pounding the ball. Now, everybody was saying after the delay the hitters would suffer. Not so.
Well, I think it's an individual thing, and, with me, a little time off helped because I wasn't hitting, the first couple of games, and it just helped me to get my mind straight and take a few days off and, get my swing back.
Sometimes you have premonitions of nights like this. Did you feel you were going to have a good offensive night? Anything particular tonight before the game?
No, not at all. I thought I was going to catch a ball over the fence and rob a home run and, make a few great defensive plays, and, it'd be a 2-1 ball game, and, I come out smelling like a rose.
Hindu did. Thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Al?
All right, thank you, Gary. Well, that's the story from Candlestick Park. There are the salient numbers. Al Michaels along with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver, and that'll do it for tonight, where the A's win it by a score of 13-7. And here's a reminder that tomorrow ABC's College Football presents exciting doubleheader action. First, at noon Eastern time, Indiana meets 5th-ranked Michigan. Then at 3:30 Eastern, regional coverage begins. You'll see either Washington against UCLA or Ohio State taking on Minnesota. Then tomorrow night on ABC Sports, back we come from Candlestick Park for Game 4 of the 1989 World Series. Our coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 Pacific tomorrow. Now, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for ABC News Nightline, which follows your late local news over most of these ABC stations. Aerial facilities provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. We'll talk to you tomorrow from San Francisco.
Game 3 of the 1989 World Series has been brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great. By AT&T, the right choice. By Merrill Lynch, a financial firm built on a tradition of trust. And by Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.